And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another broadcast here of the World Team League WTL 2024 Summer Code S Round 4, day number 2. I'm, of course, Show Slide VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the amazing people in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hope you all enjoyed Master Swan Open. Shout out to Kuro in the chat, who was casting and covering Master Swan Open only a couple of hours ago, less than an hour ago even, covering the finals and the rest of the event. Meanwhile, we are here with WTL, with Team Liquid versus Starlight Twinkle to kick things off. Let's go. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Sorry, as I was trying to quickly set things up for the broadcast. Panic. Bam, there we go. Just make sure I have the correct background going. We have our lineups. We have a laser. We have a laser coming up first for Team Liquid. And again, we're up against Starlight Twinkle. Quickly just going over the lineups here, going over the matches that we do have ahead of us. It is going to be a laser versus Rewhite, Clem versus Christiana, and a Cure versus Wayne. Oh boy. So I do appreciate that we don't really have any mirror matchups, at least to kick things off. And Team Liquid, they're going to be coming in as a heavy favorite, but Starlight Twinkle have not been doing too poorly themselves. It's still early on in the event. I want to believe that Rewhite can bounce back for himself, for his team. Let's go. It's going to be Rewhite versus a laser up first. Game 1 on Ghost River. Now, if you're in the chat, predictions will be opening up, so you can place your bets on who you think is going to take the series. Who you believe. Speaking of predictions, you can also check out the predictions in our... I don't think that's correct. I believe our predictions over on Discord are being pulled together. They're being aggregated as we speak, so we'll get there when it comes to those predictions. For those that are curious, we do hold predictions in our Discord server for all of the members that want to take part, and we do kind of collect those, aggregate those, and keep track and ranking over the course of the season to see who is the best at predicting and who is the worst as well. Este Yaku. Este Yaku. Ay, ay, ay. So you can definitely check that out as well. For now, though, again, we're settling into our first best of 2. When it comes to the format of WTL, it is a best of 7, but it is constructed by multiple best of 2s within it. It is not a best of 3, and it is loser's pick as well. So because of that, upsets are actually a little bit more common in WTL because there are no vetoes. There are no vetoes. You can pick whatever map you want. You, of course, have time to prepare ahead of time as well. So I'm sure both Alazer and Rewhite have been preparing a follow-up map too, just in case they lose game 1 with a specialized build. And here we go. We're diving in. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Alazer for Team Liquid. And in the top right, we have Rewhite for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. As we settle into this, we settle into our games. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. And again, shout out to, I see Milo in the chat, who's competing in today's MSO. Bienvenidos. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Good to see you here. As Rewhite is going to be opening up with a standard opener. Gate expand here on the low ground. We're loading into Ghost River. Ghost River, of course, has a very short rush distance by ground. With that, so you can be hyper aggressive. You can be very in the face of your opponent as well. This goes both ways, so we have seen a lot of aggressive all-ins from the side of Zerg players. We've also seen a lot of aggressive plays from the side of Protoss as well. Twilight Council openers are not unheard of on Ghost River. But here comes a probe scout. Here comes our initial probe from Rewhites coming in towards the main base. Is going to get a full scout, confirming the hatch first. Again, as to be expected, like nothing too crazy here. It's going to be a hatch gas pull out of a laser, standard opener. Not going for any early gases yet. When I spoke about aggression from the side of the Zerg player, it's typically off of 2 bases or even 3 bases. I'm talking like 2 base saturation or just under 3 base saturation. You go for a fast Roach Warren, maybe you go for a fast Lair as well. You can go for like a Drop Lord all in, walk the Queens across the map, commit with Roaches. There's a lot available here, and my eyes are definitely on a laser. Meanwhile, from the side of Rewhite, again, gate expand, Cybercore has been thrown down, standard build from our Protoss player, and we have our probe at least keeping tabs here on a laser, making sure that everything's on the up and up, making sure that the laser doesn't take any earlier gases. So Rewhite just being safe, just being secure. Here we go. I like how Rewhite has a different angle every game. Yeah, it is clearly a phone webcam. It looks like we're spying on Rewhite. Right? Like it looks like we're peering in from like behind his monitor, you know, like from like the room over or something. Like we've like hidden the cam inside Rewhite's room. I feel perverted. Aye. We're all voyeurs here, just peeping on Rewhite. And we're trying to get a glimpse here of what he's up to, and now we have our answer. There's a reason why we're being sneaky. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Rewhite. As a reminder, in the opener to this game, we mentioned how Twilight Council openers are not unheard of on Ghost River because of the short rush distance by ground. This could be Glaive Adepts, or this could be a Dark Shrine opener. Depending on the gases, if we pull out a gas, it's most likely going to be 4-gate Glaives. If we stay in, then most likely to be Dark Shrine instead. We haven't actually seen the main base yet, but we just know of the aggressive tech. And speaking of, we have pulled out. You can see they're 2 and 2, so it's going to be 4-gate Glaives out of Rewhite. Meanwhile, a Laser still has to piece it together. Catch you in the chat. Thank you for streaming this. You're welcome. Happy welcome. Again, we do stream this every single week. Always. We are live here on a daily basis. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Double Adept threatens a shade towards the main base. Glaives are on the way. Now, I believe this is the macro Glaive Adept variation. What I mean by that, yes, we have 4 gates. That is true, but I believe there's no Robo. I may have missed it. I may have like looked away at the wrong moment, but I believe there is no Robo in the main, so there is no Prism here with this either. This means that the money that we would have spent on a Warp Prism or on a Robo is being spent elsewhere on a 3rd base. So this is a macro 4-gate Glaive Adept build. There's that probe. This is for the expansion. Meanwhile, Lings, they do dive in. They don't quite get the probe. Quick moves out of Rewhite. Does save it. 3rd base goes down. So this is something not specific to this map, but you know, it helps out that we're on Ghost River. Because we don't have a Warp Prism, obviously we can't reinforce, we're not going to be committing, but the rush distance by ground is short enough where it doesn't matter, right? It's short enough where you can afford to still be, or your push is still going to be quite aggressive nonetheless, even without a Warp Prism, even without that Robo. So Rewhite, he's just settling in. We do see the Laser. He has yet to scout the main base. We do have a later Roach Warren. This is a 420 Roach Warren timing. Nice. So this is a little bit later. This tells me that we only have Lings and Queens to defend against the initial wave. But as a reminder, this is going to be a little bit lessened because of the Nexuses on the way, because it is a more macro variant. Here come the Adepts. There shouldn't really be any reinforcements with this. So we'll see if a Laser can keep up. At the same time, Laser does confirm the 3rd. Adepts, they reveal themselves at the Queens, at the 3rd base. We shaded Lings engaged, but the Lings are not going to surround. So far, a decent trade here from Rewhite. Shaves off a lot of those Lings. And will head towards that mineral line. So far, the Queens, they keep up. They force us back. Ooh, we're down to 4 Adepts. And we get surrounded. Oh, this shade was less than ideal. We get surrounded. We get completely cleaned up. Good defense out of a Laser, able to shut this all down. Again, I assume that the shade would have been into the mineral line to make use of the terrain, but that is not the case, and the Laser doesn't take any economic damage. The execution here from Rewhite was a little bit lacking, and with that, he bleeds out all of his Adepts. Now, what is scary is that now we're behind. To go for a Glaive Adept build like this, we needed to get some economic damage done, because we delay Blink for this, we delay the Forge, we delay upgrades, we delay the Robo, we delayed so much in favor of Glaives, and it did not pay off. So a Laser is in a much better position. Sure, his drone count is lower, but that is soon about to change as a Laser is focusing on resaturating his bases. Roach Warren is done, Lair is on the way, Evo Chamber for upgrades. A Laser is looking comfortable back at home. And Rewhite can't really pressure him. I mean, what can he pressure him with? Like vanilla Stalkers? He's just going to lose everything. So Rewhite is stuck at home. A Laser can drone as much as he wants. Behind this, a Laser is also getting a 4th base, working on the rest of his tech. We can see Rewhite working towards a Blink and +1. I believe a Robo was thrown down for Rewhite, so now we can start working towards Immortals, or maybe just a Warp Prism to reinforce, depending on how he wants to work this out. I do like this from Rewhite. That is a fast 4th. That 4th base is on par with the 4th base of a Laser, which is impressive. It is a little bit later, but still quite fast. So we'll see if Rewhite can hold on to it. I mean, he's stuck at home anyway, so he shouldn't be moving out, so he should be in position. Should be in position to defend. Speaking of, you can see the army rotate over, is right there next to that 4th. So now we're just chilling, we're focusing on our economy. Both players, I mean. Both the Laser and Rewhite, we're just focusing on our economies, focusing on teching. There's that Robo that we spoke about. Prism is on the way. Now, the next kind of big sign here I was gonna say if we go up to 8 gateways and cut gateway production, but with the 4th base and with additional gases, Rewhite is going for a longer game. So really what I'm waiting for is further tech. I'm waiting for a Bay for Colossus production, I'm waiting for a Temple Archives for Storm, maybe even, you know, a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. I'm waiting for something more here other than just purely Blink Stalker, as Alaze is outscaling him. Alaze is working on Ling Hydra. The Hydra Den is done, Hydra upgrades are on the way, Ling Hydra is going to be ideal against Blink Stalkers, and sure, Rewhite's moving out now, but again, like, this isn't the most committed push here. We'll see if we can get some damage done. Rewhite pushing onto creep, at the same time, Ling run by here towards the 4th base, there is side defense. Ooh, Rewhite warping in the face of a laser here with those Glaive Adepts. Overcharge is popped, Rewhite will hold back at home. Solid defense here from our Protoss player. Lings, they do head towards the 3rd base instead. Here we go, the Ling Hydra collapsing on the army. We pick off the Adepts. Stalkers do blink away. Ooh, that's a little less mine time here at the 3rd. And we're committing. We're going for another big warp in. Oh my god. Okay, Rewhite. He wants to keep this going, but again, this is a bit of a later push. Let's have a couple of extra warp-ins behind this. I mean, there are no Lings, 14 Lings in production. We're picking off some Hydras. These are some good pickups here from Rewhite, some efficient pickups, I should say. Shaving off those Hydras when we stutter step forward. We collapse here, we take down the Prism. Prism goes down, and we shut down the main army. And now Rewhite's falling further behind. Baneling Runby is coming in. The reason why I say this, if you remember earlier, as the Banelings are headed for the 3rd, we do react. Whew. We do pull away in time. We don't take any losses. But if you remember, it was before the push where I was talking about how I was waiting for a Bay or a Temple Archives or some kind of splash damage, some kind of further tech. We didn't have it. We committed. We doubled down on a mass Blink Stalker army. The push failed, and now Rewhite, he's being outscaled. Like, he has no next step here. We have a Bay that's on the way that's going to be for Colossus, but now Alaze is in control. Now Alaze is in control. Bailey's headed for the mineral lines once again. Hydra's pushing in. The Hydras, they're a little bit exposed, though. We do bust in. Workers are going to be saved. More Bailings, they do arrive. They crash into the mineral line. 9, 10, 11. Did I say 11? 19, 20 probes go down. We break the 3rd base. Rewhite, he had committed so hard here to his initial Glaive Adept, to the follow-up Blink Stalker, and we just did not do enough damage. Alaze is on 80 workers. His economy is perfectly fine. It's ideal right now for the Zerg player. And Rewhite, he is being broken. He just finished up his Robotics Bay. That's going to be for, again, Colossus, but he doesn't have the economy to sustain himself anymore. Not anymore. You see Rewhite here towards the north with a War Prism, looking to try to dip into the main or into the natural. Try to harass here with the depths or charge. Let's charge is done, by the way. There's that first Colossus on the way. We cannot afford a second Robo and a second Colossus, or double Colossus production, I should say, so things are looking a little bit bleak here for Rewhite. We need to make some magic happen. If these Adepts, if they can kill a mineral line, if they can pop off and get like 10 drone kills or something, then maybe we can claw our way back in, but we're getting some damage. To be fair, it's happening. We are getting a couple of worker kills here and there. Four drones. That's okay. It's not great. we do need more. We do need more. And meanwhile, a laser, he has already remaxed, rocking up once again with his Ling Hydra, Ling Bane Hydra. The Colossus has arrived, though. We have to respect that. A lot of swipes going off here on the Hydras. But a laser, he has no fear. He stutter steps forward, dives on the army, and he's just bullying Rewhite back. I mean, this Colossus is trading well, but we need more than a good trade for the Colossus. As this is not enough. The Colossus is exposed. No, and the Colossus does go down. A big pickup. And now a laser. He has broken the 3rd base for a second time. Bailings, they roll into the 4th. Mineral line goes down. 14, 24 probes go down. And with that, the economy has been crippled. GG gets called. A laser will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A solid game. Alasia looks upset. Alasia doesn't just look serious. He looks angry. Face of a laser, like maybe even a proper 3-base all-in. Winding it back a little bit with what Rewhite did in game number 1. I was a little bit perplexed. It was very middle of the road. So, wanting to go over what just happened, Rewhite, his initial Glaive Adept was fine, as in the build itself, not the execution. He lost all the Adepts. But the follow-up to go for a very committed Blinkstalker push, it was a little bit weird because we still took a 4th. If you remember, we took a 4th base, we took extra gases, and we stayed on the lower gateway count. I want to say we were on like 6 gateways at the time, when usually if you want to double down like that, if you want to be in the face with Mass Blinkstalker, stay on 3 bases, throw down extra gateways, get it to 8 gates, and go for a 3 base all in, right? Like, just commit. But we didn't, which is why it was a little bit weird, and it had a little bit less bite to it as well. As a result, a laser got away with taking into Ling Hydra. A laser shut it down. GG, well played. And now we're getting into our next game. In the top left, we have a laser for Team Liquid. And in the bottom right, we have a pause. Hope everything's okay. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Yes, we'll get there eventually. For those that are curious, for the playoffs of WTL for the past couple of years, whenever they have the playoffs, I think they hire like a voice actor, or they get an announcer. They add like a voice install for us here on Goldenera. Oh, and here we go. We're diving back in. And in the bottom right, we have a laser. Looks like we redid the lobby. And in the top left, Rewhite. Let's go. Loading into Goldenera. So mainly my eyes are on Rewhite here, especially after game 1, where he showed us that he is willing to mix it up and open up Twilight Council into glaives. It was a very unique and very specific kind of glaive adept build in game 1, but again shows us that Rewhite can and will be aggressive. So I'll keep an eye on his tech to see if he goes for another Twilight Council again. But now, shout out to the sponsors, Doyu, Biopio, Autofool, and SC Boy. Big shout out to the sponsors. Without them, this event would not be happening, and StarCraft would be worse off. So big shout out to SC Boy and their sponsors. Much love. Much love, Pat. For now, it's going to be a Hatch Gas Pool Opener from a laser, standard build from our Zerg player. He is forced to take the unnatural natural. You can see it there. The 3rd base location has been taken instead, as Rewhite did pro block. But at this point, I mean, this has been happening for years now, and I'm sure a laser is quite comfortable, quite practiced in this situation. There was a time where this would mean, oh, okay, glaives, right? So you can try to punish this base setup. Nowadays, that's not the case. You can also try abuse this with something like oracles as well, as your queens can have a harder time rotating between bases. But it's just a way to make the Zerg player uncomfortable in the early game, more than anything. We are going to be settling into Goldenera. Again, some of the features of Goldenera is the gold base. There's a gold towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map. There's Zelnaga towards the corners of the map as well. But the biggest feature here and the biggest factor, I think, is going to be the 3rd base location. So this 3rd base is very secure. The ramp coming to the 3rd is insanely narrow. It's very, very narrow, so it's so difficult to actually commit to all-ins up that ramp. Likewise, the 3rd base is actually very close to the natural as well, so it's actually quite easy to reinforce and to position yourself as well. Your 3-base setup is quite heavily fortified on a map like Goldenera. Because of that, I'm curious, you know, how Rewhite wants to approach this. We do have a Stargate opener out of our Protoss player, looking to be oracles, looking to be a standard game here into a 3rd. I was talking about aggression from Rewhites, but here we're seeing something very different. Meanwhile, the first adept gets across the map, gets into the mineral line. Oh, doesn't quite get the drone up. Oh, we do force out 2 spores, but quick moves out of a laser does save both drones. Very nicely done. Back at home, Rewhite is opening up Oracle, not Void Ray. The Oracle's to scout, to harass, to get some scouting information, to pick up some drones, and have a map presence as well. It also allows us to safely expand and take a 3rd base. So this is just a very standard macro build out of the Protoss player. This should lead into a 2nd and a 3rd Oracle as well. Into a 3rd base. Oracle is out, Probe likewise getting in position to expand. Interesting. Rewhite cutting some corners here. I don't know if you noticed, Rewhite, he has a lot of gas in his bank. He delayed his second Oracle to make that third base that much faster even. Very greedy, actually. This is almost like a Hearthstone build. Hearthstone, he's also got some greedier openers that he goes for in PvZ. But here we go, the Oracle dips in. Oh, we get surrounded! A big overstep there from Rewhite. Oracle goes down. We get 3 drones before an Oracle. That is not worth it for the Protoss. Ay. Bearing in mind as well that the second Oracle was delayed quite heavily, so a laser is that much more secure. Finally, here comes the second Oracle. We have a third Oracle on the horizon. The plus side is, yes, Rewhite does have a very fast third, much faster than normal. As usually you make your second Oracle and you set up some SimCity and you warp in an extra Adept and then you take the third. So really greedy stuff here out of Rewhite. But he has to babysit these Oracles. We cannot throw them away. Like, they have just so much value here, not just when it comes to scouting, but also picking off lings, threatening drones, getting eyes on them kind of all in. Meanwhile, here's our follow-up. A laser going straight into that lair. Ooh, Overlord speed on the way. I'm curious, this was a slightly earlier Roach Warren. We'll keep an eye on the drone count here. A laser, he's on 60 workers, and we're making lings. Okay, we're squeezing out a couple of extra drones. I was curious if we were going to go for like a Queen Roach all-in with Dropper Lords. But now Adepts have arrived. We shave off some of the lings. There's the Dropper Lords that we spoke about. So we did cut workers at 60. It's going to be a 3-base all-in, or just under a 3-base all-in from a laser. He's going for a very committed Roach and Queen drop. Roach push with the Queen drop to support. Lings, they shut down the Adepts. And Rewhite, he's in a bit of trouble. What do we have at the third base to defend? Here comes the all-in. The Oracles are going to be able to get some drones back at home, which is nice. But again, show us the third base. Do we have any shield batteries? I think we have one. We have one shield battery done. We have 2 more on the way. Now Rewhite is aware of what's going on. The Oracle, we get the snipe. Very nice pick up there from a laser. Snipes the Oracle. We're down to 1. You can see in a moment of desperation, Rewhite throwing down a wall of static defense, cannons, shield batteries, anything you can throw down. It's all at the third, and even some at the natural. Queen's getting low. So far, transfused on point. The wall's on a wall. Lings, they flood into the main. Overcharges pop, but it's going to go down to the Ravagers. It is Biled, and there's barely a ground army. We're down to 3 Stalkers. That's not going to be enough. We have 3 Stalkers in the main base. We have another Oracle coming out, just trying to produce whatever we can. But it looks like a laser is snowballing out of control. Files into the mineral line. 13 probes go down. This third base is going to crumble. Rewhite just doesn't have enough. Again, he cut too many corners early on. Lost his Oracles. GG gets called, and a laser takes game number 2, and the series 2-0. GG, well played. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to a laser for a pretty solid performance in this first best of 2. Game 1 was a little bit more back and forth, but yeah, Rewhite, he just had some unfortunate engagements there when he lost all of his Adepts early on, and when he lost, of course, his Stalker army as well. Some rough execution there from Rewhite. Here in game number 2 was a little more decisive in favor of a laser. Rewhite took him a little bit too long to scout and recognize what was going on. Likewise, he was also being greedy, cutting corners. He only had, what was it, 6 Stalkers? He had 3 Stalkers at his third and 3 Stalkers in the main. Like, we barely had anything to defend. And again, shorter rush distance by ground on Goldenrod. GG. GG, well played. A strong start for Team Liquid. A very strong start. And now we're getting into game number 2, into series number 2. Clem versus Cristiano. Let's go. It's going to be a Terran versus Protoss. Clem versus Cristiano, and this is going to be an interesting one. I'm curious where the predictions lie here. Okay, we have, this is from my Discord server, by the way, 75% in favor of 2-0 for Clem, 25% in favor of the 1-1 score. Now, I'll be honest, I'm one of the people that went for the 1-1 score. Cristiano's been impressing me. I've been very impressed by Cristiano over the past 6 months. Like, he's been improving over the past couple of years, sure, but over the past 6 months, Cristiano, he's been getting some really surprising results. For those that maybe don't watch WTL, Cristiano, he was able to bring down Showtime and Rainer in the first week, which was crazy, by the way. Like, Cristiano, he was popping up. Likewise, Cristiano had a little bit less success last week. He went up against Mario of all players, but Cristiano, he's been taking down Nightmare on a regular basis. So until we have our two competitors here, and oh my god, we're just diving right into game one, and spawning in the top left hand corner of Amphion, we have Clem for Team Liquid, and in the bottom left we have Cristiano for Starlight Twinkle. Whew. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, predictions, they should be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe is going to be taking this series, whether it goes 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 tied score. Up to you. Up to you to decide. But good luck, Papi, good luck. As we are settling in. So I'm just setting things up, making sure that everything's looking good. We're okay, we're okay. Whew. From here, oh, you can see Clem. Oh, he just woke up. He's sipping on some coffee. It's all good. Clem, for those that are curious what we were memeing about, is that Clem, he is known for being on a bit of a degen schedule. He does typically play in events like ESL Cup Americas and these other more foreign-based weeklies that do kind of take place at 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, Clem is usually one to stay up and compete in those events. But thankfully, he is, you know, willing to wake up early here in the morning and compete in WTL. I do appreciate it. What time is it in France? France time. It's 2:38 p.m. right now, so bright and early here for Clem. Love to see it. Clem isn't the only one. It's Clem and Max Packs, for those that are curious. Clem and Max, they're the degens. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. Meanwhile, we're just settling into our games. It is going to be a double gas opener. Okay, interesting. Double gas opener out of Clem. What this means is a faster factory. It means a delayed command center, as you can see here. Ooh, the Reaper will miss the probe. Ooh, Cristiano, he sucked it in. Probe was able to just barely hug the wall and did escape the eyes of that Reaper. Back at home, gate expanded. Gate Cybercore expand here from Cristiano. Twilight Council's on the way. Reaper does something to the mineral line. So far, good control. We do pull back our probes. We have to minimize our losses. No, we come back too soon. One probe goes down. A little bit rough there from Cristiano. Bleeding out one probe. Going to bleed out a second probe as well. Yeah, 2 probes fall. The Reaper should be shut down. That was some pretty nice damage from Clem to be able to get 2 workers, get a full scout, and, of course, be shut down, but did get eyes on the Twilight Council. So Clem is fully aware of the tech of choice from Cristiano. Behind this, we're getting into our CC on the high ground. It's on the high ground just to make sure it isn't delayed, just to make sure it isn't harassed here by the Protoss. Bit of a safer response, and a big shout out to Air Orange in the chat. Oh my god, Bappy, thank you so much for the support. Subscribing 22 months in a row, subscribing for the 30th month. That's a lot of months. That's almost 3 years of support. Thank you so much, Air Orange. Ga, Papi Ga. One of our longest supporters in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Much love. Much love. As back at home, we just see Clem getting ready for his own drop play. We have a medevac in production as we speak. Cyclone as well. We only have the 1 Widow Mine, so I imagine we're going for not the most committed mine drop, but we can move out with the Marines, we can move out with the Cyclone. There it is, we have the Marines and the medevac moving through the center of the map. We'll see if Cristiano can minimize his losses. Now, ideally, you want the Widow Mine shot to actually go off not on the mineral line, but you want it to go off on the Stalker, and then the Marines can take care of the rest. Here we go. We are going in. Widowmine is throwing down to zone away the Stalkers. Marines, they go straight for the mineral line. And how many workers can we target down? We get 1, we get 2. We get 2, we're going to get a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th probe as well. Mine shot goes off, takes down an Adept. And the Cyclone from the right-hand side. Oh, we are pulling Cristiano apart. He's out of position. Ay, ay, ay. 7 workers go down. We get 1 extra lock-on here towards the end. Clem will escape with the Cyclones. We bust back into the main. We get an 8th probe. Again, Cristiano was just blindsided by at least a Cyclone. With that, Clem has done well for himself. What did Clem lose? He kept the medevac alive. He kept the Cyclone alive. He lost the Windmine. He lost a handful of Marines for 8 workers. Well worth it. We also got a full scout. So Clem is fully aware of how many gateways there are. Prism is on the way. It's going to be 4-gate blink from Cristiano. I believe it's 4. It could be 3. Yeah, 4-gate blink. So it's 4-gate blink from our Protoss player, which is very aggressive, but Clem saw everything. He saw all the gateways. He's fully aware. And he's getting ready. We have tanks on the way back at home. We have bunkers on the way back at home as well. Clem is preparing for the aggression of Cristiano. Oh, medevac barely escapes. And we should have bunker set up. We haven't quite seen the defensive setup from Clem yet, but we should have at least a bunker in the natural. There we go. We have a bunker in the natural. We have our tank set up as well. The main base, we can be a little bit more lax just because it's harder to blink into the main. Actually, I don't think we can blink into the main. We have to ferry in with the War Prism. So 4-gate blink is that much less effective on a map like Infield as well. Here we go. We are reinforcing. Cristiano, he's committed. We've got to push in. And we'll see how quick Clem is to pull the boys in repair. We go for the tank. Oh, bit of a misclick. Tank goes down. We got a volley up on the depot by accident. But the bunker will fall as well. But it's costing us a lot here. With the bunker, we got 1 tank, but the army is forced back, and we need more damage. You can see Cristiano reinforcing. Like, this is not enough. Tank volley going up. We go for another dive, and tank goes down, but we have to deal with all these auto turrets. Deal with the army as well. We bleed out almost every single stalker. GG gets called as Cristiano loses everything, and Clem takes game number 1. GG, well played. A solid game there from Clem to take that first game. Again, he was in the driver's 2 games in a row, but I'm hoping for something a little bit different. And here we go in the bottom right-hand corner of Ocean World. We have Clem for Team Liquid. And in the top left, we have Cristiano for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. Light is drinking reality. Ah, the Terran player. He's inside me. Here we go. Settling into our game. As a reminder, in the first game, Clem did go for a double gas opener, went double gas into a factory. Here on Oceanborn, I'm expecting the same. I'm not too sure if this is the best map to go for something more economic like a rack expand, but we'll keep an eye on Clem. As there it is, second gas has been taken, so Clem once again is going for a faster factory into a delayed command center. Just a safer build, does allow him to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more tech heavy early on. To work towards Reaper Hellion, to work towards a mine drop, a cyclone drop as well. Clem has possibilities. He has options. Cristiano comes in with a probe scout, he confirms the second gas, so now he knows that, of course, Clem is going for something more tech heavy. Probe is locked in, forces the recall, and the probe will safely make it back home. Does make it back. Ooh, okay. Cristiano going for a gate expand into a delayed cyber core. I see you. Bit of a greedier opener here out of Cristiano. Likewise, he doesn't wall off the Reaper Cliff either. Going for SimCity, a little bit more secure SimCity in the main instead. The reasoning for this is, at times, if you do wall off the Reaper Cliff, it does expose your tech and it exposes your pylons. It allows the Terran opponent to trade a little bit better and pick you apart or just pick off some high-tech structures. Can be frustrating to deal with. As once again, that is a Twilight Council opener out of Cristiano, not a Stargate. Okay, now this should be a blink-based build, but it doesn't have to be 4-gate blink. It could be 2-gate blink into a third, it can be 3-gate blink from map control into a third base, or we could just double down and go 4 gateways again. True. Could happen. Meanwhile, ooh, we're committing to Reaper Alien. We have the reactor on the racks. We are pumping out Reapers. We're pumping out Hellions as well. A very aggressive start here for Clem. So the way this works is with the massive amount of Reapers and Hellions that Clem is about to have, the goal here is to get some economic damage. Is to bust into a mineral line, to run past the Adept, run past the Stalker, go for probe kills instead. And if Cristiano fumbles the ball in the defense, this can wreak havoc. This can get out of control and deal even game-ending damage at times. It shouldn't, but it can. Here we go. Clem is moving out. Meanwhile, Cristiano is setting up a full wall. Let's go. That will shut down the Hellion harass. The Reapers can still dip into the main, but the Hellion's going to have a hard time getting into any kind of mineral line whatsoever. As I believe that is a full wall. Here we go. The 4 Reapers, they head into the main base. They drag the army towards that main. Good control so far. Shield battery is done. 1 probe goes down. But it looks like we do get within range of those Reapers and we pick off 2. 2 Reapers for 1 Stalker, but we get another probe. And Cristiano should clean this up. Not before losing another probe. And a 4th probe will not go down. And with that, that's not a bad defense. It was, what, 4 Reapers for 3 probes? I would say a better trade for the Protoss player. So very nice defense here out of Cristiano to be able to wall off his natural, to be able to defend against the Adepts, to be able to keep up with Clem. We're good. Cristiano from here can now take a 3rd base. Blink is almost done. Clem following this up with a Cyclone job. It's going to be a Cyclone and 4 Marines. And ideally this heads into the main. We could try and disrupt the 3rd base timing and force a cancel. Ooh, Clem following this up though with Banshees. Okay, the drop has arrived. We're going for the pylon. Not a bad pick off here to kick things off. Clem gets a pylon, backs off. Behind this is looking like a 2-base all-in. We've seen a lot of tank Banshee builds in TVP over the past couple of months. It's been very popular, very trendy here by players like Clem, players like Bjorn, Maru. They've all been embracing it. Some have been pulling the boys with this. Others, they just push with their tanks to the 3rd, and then they harass with the Banshees. Others bring it all together. There are different ways to go about this. As Clem is still building up, we have the medevac drop here outside of the main. Banshee is spotted by Cristiano as it heads towards the natural. And Clem, he's just massing up his tank army, getting ready for his push. Not moving out yet. Ideally, we want to push out with 2 to 3 tanks. Ooh, as Cristiano does slip into the main, we do get a couple of SCVs. Not bad. 3 SCVs go down, and Cristiano does escape. Doesn't lose anything. Meanwhile, there's no detection! No! The Banshee going ham in the main. 5 probes go down, and here comes the main push. Right for the 3rd. And Cristiano, he doesn't slow it down, losing even more workers here at the 3rd base. These Banshees, they're more than paying for themselves. They're dealing a crippling amount of damage. And Cristiano, he did not spot the main move out. Now engaging with these tanks, but they're getting within range. There's no shield battery, there's no overcharge at the 3rd. Ay, ay, ay. These tanks are looking a little bit exposed though, there's not that much support. Stalkers are being forced back. Yeah, the Immortal has arrived. With the help of the Immortal, we should be able to break out. It's not going to be a clean trade, though. The drop comes into support. And the tank holds. No shot. The tank does not go down. So many Stalkers go down. They go down instead. And Clem, he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking through the main army. GG gets called. And Clem, he will take it 2-0. GG. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, and there's a reason why these Banshee builds have been so popular as of late. It can be so difficult to scout what's going on, to have observers out in time, to have them in position as well, just because they're so slow. They take so long to rotate between the bases. And that was the beginning of the end. With the Banshee harassing across the map, it wasn't just dealing a lot of damage, but it forced the parents in the world, though. Cure is an insane heavy hit up here against Wayne Game 1 on Site Delta. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Cure for Team Liquid. And in the top left, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Here we go. Catching with chat. Cure playing with ping. They all play with ping, as it typically is the case with of course online events like this. Cure versus Wayne will most likely be played on West Central, as in because it's the best of two. Game 1 would be West, game 2 would be Central. Like they kind of alternate. There's kind of a rule. There's like rules for that in WTL from game to game, just to play this out as fairly as possible. I believe there's specific server rules depending on where in Europe you are as well. So Eastern Europe and Western Europe and Central Europe, they get different priorities when it comes to servers and stuff like that. So they break it down even further via region. Also a shout out to NeatPete8. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you for resubscribing for another month, 6 months in total. Thank you so much. Hope you've had a great time. Hope you enjoyed the content, the casting. Welcome. Welcome back. Quack, puppy, quack. A win can also add to the team's earnings. There you go. Also add to the total prize money there. Going back to bed after this 2 p.m. start. True, true. From here, though, we're going to be settling into our game. We just see Cure going for a Rax Expand standard opener out of our Terran player. And likewise, Wayne going for a Hatch Gas Pool. We did have a very explosive TVP between Cristiano and Clem. And I'll be honest, like, we didn't really get to sink our teeth into it. Like, it was a very short series, very aggressive game there. Sorry, very aggressive series. I mean, game 1, Cristiano went for 4-gate bling. Game 2, Clem committed on 2 bases, so just really short games. Here with Wayne versus Cure, we should be able to get into the mid game. We should be able to settle into like 3 base setups here, you know, at least 60 drones and 60 workers, and head on even further than that. I'm looking forward to more of a back and forth. I'm hoping for it at least. I still feel unsatisfied, Papi. Oh. I need more. Speaking of, it's going to be a 3rd command center, 3 CC before Starport. Very economic build here by Cure. So far, so good. We're headed towards a longer game. Likewise, Wayne is working towards his 3rd base as well. Now, this 3rd hatchery is a little bit delayed for Wayne. Is a bit delayed, but is going to be uncontested and can get up and running. As behind this, we're just joining up. There's a Starport on the way for Cure. And if we get a Tech Lab on the way on the Rax, we could end up going in towards Banshee production. But Cure does like to go into Viking first from time to time. So we'll keep an eye on those production buildings on the add-on swap. Yeah, the Tech Lab building just now starting. Based on the build here, it's not really lined up for an add-on swap, so this should be Viking first. And there it is, there's that Viking. So Cure going for faster stim instead. He should be going into Vikings, should be working towards a Liberator behind this with Hellion Harass into a longer game. Now Cure is going to be more vulnerable to Roach-based play because he isn't going Banshee, but we still could actually go for the add-on swap. My eyes are on Cure. Are we going to go for delayed Banshee production? Viking comes out. Okay, there's a lib. I was like, are we going to go for a delayed add-on swap? No, no, no. Liberator's on the way. Tech Lab stays on the Rax. Yeah, we're just going to be harassing with Haley and Lib. The way this works is that the Liberator's going to be threatening the main or one of the bases, and then the Hellions threaten the other base. And the goal is to drag the Queens out of position to get into a mineral line to get some damage done. Behind this, fast Roach Warren out of Wayne. We did just mention that because there's no Banshee play, Roaches are going to be a little bit more effective, and Wayne happens to be going into Roaches. I say happens, Wayne did scout the Viking. As the Viking revealed itself to the Overlord, so Wayne is fully aware that the likelihood of there being Banshees is low, so he made the choice to go Roach instead. And we could commit, as we haven't really been droning. Are we going for an all-in? I think we are. I was looking forward to a longer game, Papi. I was like, yo, we're gonna be able to settle in and we're gonna be able to like enjoy like a more back and forth EVT. You can see there at 9 roaches are in production. We're amassing lings. There's 3 more overlords on the way. Ooh, Wayne is supply. Now is not the time for a supply block. Not when we're committing like this. Oh, that's a brutal supply block there for Wayne. Stuck at 82. Now breaking free. And he's flooding lings. He's flooding lings behind this. Liberator does arrive with the Hellions that do threaten the natural. Lings are in position, but the Hellions, they can trade well here. Ooh, as lings, they're getting roasted at the natural base. We head towards the third. We should recognize lack of drones. There's barely any saturation at this third. That is a tell. Wayne is all in. And Cure has scouted. It's going to bleed out some of these Hellions back at home. Immediately, you can see the bunkers. Look at the production tab. We have bunkers on the way. He knows. He now knows what's going on. Bunkers are being thrown down immediately. But does he have enough time? Because here come the Ravagers. Here comes those Ravagers. Liberator got taken out across the map. Won't be at home to defend. Bunkers are not done. The bunkers, Papi. We file down 1. And we break through into the natural base. Now we do have Stim. Marines are available. 1-1 on the way. The piles, they may just be too much as Wayne, he has broken the natural and pushing into the main. And again, there are only Marines to defend. Boys, they're being pulled. They have to be for the miles. They rain down on the SCVs. They deny combat shields. 33 SCVs have gone down. And Wayne, he's looking to redeem himself and his team here. Christiana, as well as Rewhite, may have struggled. But Wayne, he's here to put a point on the board. He denies the natural, denies the upgrades, containing Cure to 1 base. Again, it was a later realization of Cure to, again, get an eye on the all-in, to realize what was going on. Also, all of his Hellions, Files once again. Oof. They connect with Marines, and you can see here that Wayne cannot break the main. He can deny mining at the third, though, as there are SCVs there. Uh-oh. Okay, so a couple of things. Cure has triple orbital. Now, sure there's a meme, you know, mules, but unironically though, mules, Papi, mules. We can make 3 mules at a time. We're going to be moving out with our double drop. Now, what I will say is that thankfully we did deny upgrades. We denied 1-1, we denied combat shields. The upgrades of Cure are a little bit lackluster here, so I still want to give the edge to Wayne. Cure isn't dead, but Cure is crippled, and he needs a lot to bounce back. Wayne is still in control. Still in control here. If Cure had 1-1, if Cure had combat shields, then I would, you know, put a little bit more weight behind this double drop. But you can see here it's going to be deflected. Wayne, he's ready in the main base. He's got Roach Ravager here at the third. He's droning up as we speak. He's saturating his natural, he's saturating his third. Working towards his own 1-1 upgrades. I will say that it is unfortunate that Wayne did not deny the third base of his opponents. Like, there was some mining going on there that Wayne was not denying. I'm concerned that maybe Wayne didn't actually see the triangular third. It's possible. But he still has a big advantage. Like, there's a slim chance for comeback here for Cure, and we'll see if he can walk that road. We'll see if he can bring it back. For now, he's being active with his drops. He has a drop here towards the south. He has a double drop towards the north, clearing up a lot of creep. Denying creep is nice, but we do need some economic damage. Good trade here with the Lings. Not bad. Not losing a single Marine. Combat shields is now done. Ooh, meanwhile, Wayne is not droning, by the way. Rain, he's not droning up. He's cutting workers at 61. He's massing up for a second all-in. For a second wave. He's maxing out with Roach Ravager. That's a hefty army, Papi. And what do we have to defend? We have 2 tanks on the high ground. I mean, pretty good positioning. The Marines, they catch reinforcements. Oh, the miles! The base! Oh, that's a kill on the natural. Oh my god. That's a kill in the orbital. And Wayne, he has to have seen the... yeah. Head for the third base now. This base is going down next. Wayne has no high ground vision. He can't really threaten those tanks. I'm loving the pickup micro there from Cure, saving the SCVs. This is the win condition for Wayne. Just deny the third. And even deny the natural. Oh, as we almost bile it down. Wayne has to be careful. Takes out a medevac, but he doesn't have to push up the ramp. Okay, calm down, Poppy. Calm down. And there it is. GG gets called. There is no way out of this. And Wayne takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Wayne is going to be fighting back here for his team for Starlight Twinkle. Cure was the heavy favorites, but Wayne is one of the best Zerg players in Europe. And clearly showing us that he can bring it to Cure. Wasn't all in, and it was on Cure to scout. We mentioned before that because Cure didn't open up at Banshee, he was vulnerable to roaches. We just didn't realize how vulnerable he was. And we're getting into game 2. In the top left, we have Cure for Team Liquid. In the bottom right, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Now, it isn't like, oh, you don't open up Banshee, so you just insta-lose versus roaches. Not quite like that, but it was also on Cure to scout earlier on. If you remember, he was very tentative with his Hellions and very tentative with his units on the map. Just waiting until he was able to build up his Hellion count a little bit longer before applying pressure. He eventually saw the low drone count, but again, that was as the all-in was happening. That was as the push was already moving out across the map. It was a late scout. Oh. And Wayne. He's going pool first. Interesting. You have my attention. It's going to be pool first out of Wayne. So a very cheeky opener. This is not an all-in, but this is a way to get a lead early on. The goal here is to make lings. It's to make a handful of lings, to skirt around the edge of the map, to avoid the Reaper, and to delay the CC. As it is a pool hatch gas opener. We'll see how many lings we make. You can make anywhere between 2 and 6 lings, depending on how committed Wayne wants to be. I believe we're holding on to larva. Yeah, we're holding on to larva. Should be 6 lings. There it is. We have, okay, 4 lings on the way. Now, again, the goal of these 4 lings is to avoid the Reaper, to get on top of that CC, and to get an economic lead early on. Now, Cure is moving in with an SCV Scout, very important. It is not uncommon for Terran players to skip their SCV Scout, especially the Korean Terrans. But the SCV is coming in, and we will confirm the lings. We confirm how late the hatchery is, so Cure has an option. He has a choice to make. Do we send the Reaper across the map, or do we keep it at home? Well, as we do see Wayne trying to set up a trap, and oh, does he get the SCV? He does not! And Wayne has to back off. So this opener has been lackluster for Wayne. Remember, he got scattered by the SCV. He pulls back with his lings. The Reaper arrives. And these lings, they don't delay the command center. So far, so good for Cure. He's in a slightly better position. Reaper dips in. This was a very important scout as well. A pull first can sometimes lead into an early Roach Warren. So Cure, he goes in, confirms no extra gases. He confirms no extra Roach Warren. Oh, he delays the third base. Up. Oh my god. Does delay the third as well, but the drone does survive, and we do get our third base up. Now we're calming things down. We're headed towards a longer game. Behind this, that's a 1-1-1. Uh-oh. Cure, he's angry. Cure is upset. 1-1-1 builds are very uncommon nowadays. Even if you open up Banshee, usually it's after a third CC. So for Cure to stay on 2 bases, to go straight for that starport, this could be a couple of different things. We could be rushing towards Banshees, of course, and additional Hellions. This could lead towards a Hellbat push. That's the first thing to come to mind for me. Or this could just be a delayed command center and a safer build. We'll see if an armory gets thrown down for Hellbats. Reaper dips in. Oh, Reaper goes down. Not too worth it there for Cure. Doesn't quite get the drone. Meanwhile, we have the Viking first. Very interesting. Viking first into add-on swap. Okay, this is actually really cool. Cure, he's kind of playing with his build a little bit. If you remember, in game 1, Cure opened up Viking, and that was the tell. That was the tell for Wayne to throw down a Roach Warren, is seeing the Viking. So once again, we have a Viking opener, and that will hide the follow-up add-on swap. Ooh, as the link does confirm. Very nice scout there. So the Ling didn't see the starport on the tech lab, but it saw the tech lab on its own. And that's enough. That's enough of a tell to know that the Rax had built the starport, the Rax had lifted clearly for the starport to take its place. So Wayne should be able to piece together that it's Viking first into Banshee. I say that, there's that Roach War and he is getting baited into it. Uh-oh. I'm hoping he can piece together that it's going to be Banshees. Spores are on the way. Oh, they're on the way to deal with Liberators instead. So I'm liking Kyr's position here. It looks like he has sold the story. Viking comes in, forces back the Overlord. Okay. Double Evo Chambers are on the way. So this tells us that Wayne is not... Oh, Overlord goes down. But this tells us that Wayne isn't going for an all-in this time. There is a fast Roach War, and yes, but he's playing Roaches into the mid-game. As you can see that Wayne is droning. Wayne, he's got Evos on the way for upgrades. Lair as well for Roach speed. Oh my god! And we're playing mech! That I was not expecting! We have 2 more factories on the way. This is not the first time we've seen Kyr play mech. Clem's been playing mech. Maru's been playing mech. Kyr as well. Mech is on the way. Oh boy. Kyr is upset. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to make the Zerg suffer. Oh no. So we are meching it up here from the side of Kyr. Ooh, and we're going for a Hyperfly Murder variation. Very interesting. This is a more modern variation of mech where you double down and you commit a little bit harder to more Banshees. So you have a marauding group of Banshees alongside your battle mech. Double armories on the way for double upgrades. But Hyperflight Murders is Banshee speed, for those that are curious. Ooh, the Banshee barely escaping. On 5 HP. Will be able to get away. See Wayne breaking his way out, collapsing on those Hellions. At the same time, Banshees, they come in from behind. And can we force the cancel? We can! Up! Oh my god. Was a close cancel there for Wayne. Thankfully not killed. And see, you can see behind this, we're committing here into more Banshees, more Hellions. We're getting to tank production. Interesting that we have not gone into Cyclones. I mean, in the new patch, Cyclones have been nerfed, but whenever we see mechs, Cyclones are still used for map control. You can see here, though, that Kyr is going Hellion Banshee to harass, not Cyclone. Instead, using those resources and that gas for tank production. So it's going to be a more tank-heavy style here, or tank-heavy composition from Kyr. We're building up a lot of tanks. Meanwhile, Wayne has been stuck at home, stuck trying to defend, take another base. Hydrogen is done. Interesting, we're taking up not just into a hive, but into lurkers. I'm not sure how I feel about this. We have seen a lot of players experiment with Hydra, Lurker, Viper versus Mech with very mixed results. Again, it can be quite difficult to actually make it worthwhile, so I'm curious how this plays out for Wayne. I'm quite curious. I mean, the problem is that Hydras are necessary because of the Banshee, right? It makes sense. Whenever we see this kind of Banshee style, like, you do need those Hydras, so may as well take into Lurkers from there. Meanwhile, Hellions, they do go for a run-by. Barely any drones to take advantage of. Big volleys here on the Lings. Oh my god, that's a lot of Lings going down. The Hellions survive? Wait, what? As the Banshees, they hit the natural base. Queens are going down one after the other. Where's the detection? It's not here in time. Overseer is being morphed in. And we can just abuse this position. Oh my god. Queens are going down. Hydra's going down. Kyr, he realized that there's no detection. Stuck around, got extra damage done. 9 workers go down. And even with detection, we don't have Overlord speed. The power of the Banshee. And what's scary here is the pendulum has swung heavily in favor of Kyr. What I mean by that is that Kyr has a better economy. In a mech versus Zerg, for the meching player to be even on bases, and ahead in workers is terrifying. Usually we should be seeing the opposite here, where the Zerg player needs to have map control, they need a better economy, they need to swallow up their half of the map first, because the reality is that Cure is going to be more efficient. Cure has a more efficient army here, so Wayne needs a better economy, and he doesn't have that. So things are looking dire. As we rain down at the natural once again, 5, 6 more drones go down, then the Banshees, they can just fly away. They just dip on out of there. Wayne was not in position, not ready for it. But we do have Vipers. Now these Vipers, they can do very well against mech. With their blinding clouds, with their power bombs on the Banshees. Vipers, they have a lot of utility here in general in a Zerg army. So we'll see how they're used. But now Cure backing off. Now what's important here is that Cure has a low Banshee count. Like, it's not like he's going mass Banshee. He made a handful of Banshees he was harassing, and he's done with them. Like, they could all die, and they've already paid for themselves. Cure is hyper-fixated on a mass tank composition instead. And can Wayne actually break that? I'm going to be concerned if he does waste a little bit too much energy on those power bombs. You can see the Vipers poking in. Thors are on the way. They'll deal with said Vipers. No anti-air, by the way. We go for the yoinks. We do get 2 tanks. Not bad. 2 tanks go down. At the same time, no, we get in! We don't even have blue flame, but the Hellions, they bust into the natural. 7 more drones go down. Ay, ay, ay. Losses we cannot afford. Cure, he's on 91 SCV. TY, is that you? 91 SCVs. We do have a Nidus in towards the natural. Banshees, they hit the fresh mining base. More drones going to be falling. And again, Cure, he's happy to lose all these Hellions and Banshees because he's replacing them with Thors. Like, Thors are here. Now, we do get some lurkers into the natural. Finally, some counter damage. 10 SCVs go down. But we have to get the hell out of here. And we do manage to escape. We get 11 workers. Dive into that Nidus. Meanwhile, it looks like we had some power bombs on those Banshees. Finally, the Banshees are cleaned up. But we mentioned before, the Banshees, they don't matter anymore. And Cure is almost at his ideal. So the ideal late game composition is Mech Ghost. It's Tank, Ghost, Thor, Liberator. That's like the ideal, the death bull of an army that you're building up towards. And you can see that Ghosts are on the way, Thors are on the way. What I will say is that Cure's upgrades are a little bit lackluster. We're still just now finishing 2-2. And the Ghosts don't have any bio upgrades, of course, so Cure is still refining his forces. Still getting there. Meanwhile, Hydras, they have arrived. They're going to be denying the right-hand base. Oh, we kind of push into this, though. That's a lot of tanks. Do yoink a Thor. We yoink a handful of units. And oh, the Vipers, no! We bleed out 2 Vipers. 2 Vipers with 2 Thors. That wasn't a bad trade, but considering Wayne's economy and how Wayne's been getting here, I'm concerned. As he's down to 1 Viper. The Nidus here towards the 3rd. We have lurkers morphing in on the right-hand side as well. You can see Wayne pushing through the center. And that Nidus Swarm, it looks like it is barely going to go down in time. Whew. Yeah, we have a tank in position here at the natural. The Nidus Worms, they're not finishing. They're not getting up and running. You can see the Vikings hunting down the Overseer. We do apply some pressure at the fresh mining base, but it's only 2 Hydras and a lurker. Should be cleaned up. Changelings get in. Lurker goes down. Now, what I will say when it comes to what Wayne, I know I was talking a lot about the ideal Terran army. The ideal Zerg army is to work towards Broodlords in a longer game. For now, Lurkers, they're getting some work done. Nice, it does finish. We double the tanks. The tanks are left exposed, and with these blinding clouds, we can break through. Was it 2, 3 tanks go down, but oh, we overextend. We ran out of blinding clouds. We only had 1 Viper. I think that was like 1, maybe 2 blinding clouds. It's not quite enough. Some decent lurker shots though. We catch some of those ghosts. Lurkers behind the army, they're able to trade a little bit better as well. Getting 11 SCVs. This Knight's not quite going to finish. It should be shut down. That's Curious settling into his bases here. But yeah, Wayne, he's sticking with a more mobile Ling Hydra army, and he's collapsing on top of these stores once again. Without Hellbats, these Lings, they can go to town. We shut down a Thor, we get a tank. We clean up all these Hellions as well. And this tech switch here from Wayne, trading quite nicely. Seeing these Lurkers get a couple of hits in towards the end. Wayne, he can remax. Now, the downside of what Wayne's army is in a head-on fight, we have to favor Cure. Like Wayne, with Ling Hydra, he can hit left and right. He can pull Cure apart. He can find these exposed positions and break some defensive lines. But if Cure ever unsieges his entire army, if he ever pushes, Wayne is going to have a very hard time holding. So the goal here for Wayne is to keep Cure busy at home, is to make sure he doesn't push. Yeah, it's another tank for Lings, trading minerals for gas. Good pick off there by Wayne. We do have an Ultra Cavern on the way. Interesting tech choice here by Wayne. I mean, Ultras can help when it comes to dives, but they are quite expensive, as the ghost count is being rebuilt. And Wayne has taken the entire map, by the way. Early on, Cure, he was having a much easier time expanding and having control. Remember earlier, like 5-6 minutes ago, it was when Cure was harassing with Hellies, but he was harassing with Banshees, but the harassment has ended and Wayne has recovered. Base finally going to be going down, but again, Wayne hasn't really lost many drones in quite some time. So Wayne is kind of regained control of the map. Has the bank so he can afford to remax at least once. Snipes are coming in. Oh! Nice snipes there from Cure. Okay, we'll force a cancel. And Cure is going to be expanding. Or he's looking to expand. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, I see a fusion core on the way. Now, we can go one of two ways. This could be for Liberator range for Libs, or this could be for BC. As we are not ready for a corruptor transition. The Ghost! Oh my god! The Ghost, he took those spine shots to the face. Or like 2 or 3 Ghosts going down. Cure has to be careful when it comes to pushing into Lurkers. Fusion core is done. Again, I'm curious if we're going Lib or BC. Like, I can see an argument for both. I would prefer Liberators against a more Lurker-based composition, but we'll see. As things, they catch the tanks on siege. 1 tank, 2 tanks go down. We get a 3rd, a 4th as well. We get 4 tanks, and we bleed out a lot of Ling Hydra. Oof. Oh, it's just a sea of Zerg melting before the Terran army. But at least we kept the Lurkers alive. Now we're rebuilding the Vipers. It's been a while, but there we go. We have 3 Vipers in production. As Cure is taking another base. Now, what's important is that Wayne was barely mining from that base as well. So it's a fresh mining base for Cure. Cure also has the center left base, which has been left unattended and no one has taken yet. Wayne does have the base on the far left, but Wayne has not been mining. He has not saturated that base, so it is still up in the air. Lurkers, they go for a dive, but yeah, we cannot push into a defensive line of tanks. I mentioned before that this army from Wayne is heavily reliant on Cure being out of position. And if Cure is ever set up with a tank line like that, we cannot break it. Not easily. Not without a swarm of Lings. And there we go, 52 Lings on the way. I would like to see Wayne push in towards the 3rd with this army. Those tanks are looking a bit exposed, and we're going for it. But there is some good SimCity here that, that's not going to happen. I meant through the center. Another base being taken. Cure pushes in on the right-hand side, heading into the mineral line. Drones are going down. Oof, that's 11 workers for a handful of Hellbats. But yeah, Wayne pushing up this ramp towards that 3rd. Does feel like there's a clear path, and he's going for it. Fury's a little bit late to respond. Tanks are going down. We get 3. We got a 4th tank as well. We have the high ground. Wayne backs off. It did cost him a lot of Hydras. Base falling alongside it, but Wayne can remax. It's all good. Oh my god, and Wayne remaxing 15 lurkers. Papi. If Cure was going into Lib or into BC right now, then Wayne would be in a bit of trouble, but that's a lot of lunkers. I believe that's every Hydra turning into a lurker. Cure does have that fusion core, but he hasn't done anything with it. He hasn't researched Yamato. He hasn't researched Liberator range. Curie's sticking with Tank Ghost. Thankfully for Wayne, Curie's sticking with Tank Ghost. And here come the lurkers. Yeah, we come in from flank. We go for a surround. We get a decent catch on some of those Thors. Oh, but the snipes are brutal. Yeah, the Ghost, they hold onto the high ground. I say that, we did overextend for a moment. But that cost us, oh my god, so many lurkers. That was like 9 lurkers going down. That was an expensive trade for Wayne. And he's still committed to Ling Hydra. And here come the libs. It looks like finally, now that Cure has identified how lurker heavy this is, now we get some libs on the way. Now we have advanced ballistics on the way as well. Liberator range. But that production has only just begun. It's gonna take a while to get there. It will take a while. Wayne coming in, getting ready with his Vipers, going for the yoinks. Oh, we get 2, we get 3. 3 goes for 3 yoinks. Nicely done here by Wayne. Meanwhile, going to be rotating around once again, trying to catch out some free tanks. And it looks like he will get them. Not just tanks, but even a Ghost. 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks going to be going down. And the Liberators as well. Again, these are the moves that Wayne has to go for. Just catching the reinforcements out of position. He has the high ground as well. Lurker shots going off. The Ghosts are exposed. 2 more Ghosts go down. Yeah, time and time again, Wayne is doing such a great job at abusing this position specifically. Over here, Wayne pulling back. We have Infestors on the way. Let's go. More Lunkers as well. Mate, who needs Broodlords? I mean, I'm still concerned for Wayne, but here we go. Does dive in, collapsing on these tanks. Decent blinding cloud, but ooh, the Vipers do fall. That was a bit more expensive for Wayne. He bled out his Vipers, pushing into a tank line. Again, the Liberator count's still quite low. Now we have 3 Liberators pushing in. Decent fungal, but no follow-up. We do manage to catch 2 of those libs. Oh, barely getting a 3rd. Very nice fungal with the Ghost, though. And with the chain fungal, oh my god! We get 6 Ghosts! Was that every Ghost? Cure. Bunching up his Ghost like that, losing everything, and that was not cheap. Like, Cure, likewise, he doesn't have the most amazing bank to work with here. He has a lot of gas, but not a lot of minerals. We will catch the Infestors, though. Oh, Willie. Up, up. The Hellions, they get 1. They get 1 Infestor. Ultras on the way. You can see how expensive these Ultras are. We make 4 Ultras, and we burn through most of the gas bank from Wayne. Down to 1k. I mean, he still has 1k gas, to be fair, but... calm things down. There's sniping more Lurkers. Wayne pushing in. I'm liking the tanks on the left-hand side. Big volley's going to be going off in the Lurkers. Yeah, this is the ramp that was being abused earlier, and finally Cure, he's establishing himself there. So Wayne can't push in the same way he was before. Has to calm down. Beat is receding. Ooh. We do annihilate a mineral line. 19 drones get caught. The barbecue, papi. Hellions being cleaned up at the same time. Here comes the freedom. This is what we were waiting for. This is the final form of Cure. We're making 4 Liberators at a time. And sure, we're making 5 Ultras, but Ultras, they don't shoot up. Uh-oh. The freedom is here. Keep papi. As I say that, some of these tanks, we have to calm down. There are infestors just underneath them, waiting for a fungal. We do catch a tank. And that infestor lying in wait does spot the rotation. Cure moving out with his entire army. He's leaving his bases a little bit vulnerable, but okay, we have Liberators to defend. And do we go for a base trade? We have Cure pushing on the left, Wayne moves out on the right, and both players will be bleeding out their bases. We should lose our planetary and our hatchery. I say should, but the libs are holding. Oh god, these Ultras, they're taking a lot of hits. But the Hydras, they stutter step forward, they focus down the Liberators. At the same time, the base on the left-hand side are going to be falling as well. So we trade a planetary for 2 hatcheries. Wayne racing back. But this is going to turn out better for Cure. What's important here, even though Cure lost the base, he's killing 2 and he's expanding behind it. Cure is finally taking that center left base on the low ground. So he has a fresh mining CC. Meanwhile, Wayne is down to 30 drones and is double expanding, desperately so. Wayne is long distance mining from that center base, but he's out of gas. He's out of resources, period. Like, Cure has a fresh base. Uh-oh, and he's taking another. Looking a long distance mine as well. Tanks are late to siege. But here comes the Freedom Lings. They get annihilated. The Ultras are coming in. That's a lot of Ultras. Is it going to be enough? As we break through the ground army, tanks are going down. But what about the Liberators? What about the Freedom? As the Liberation Zones are left alone, I mean, the Ultras do bypass the libs. They get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. One of the Ultras burrows. But this was an expensive loss there for Wayne. Yeah, that's everything he had. He doesn't have a bank. He cannot remax. He aped into the army, lost everything. We have 1 Ultra left. And Wayne, he's out of money. Straight up, he's just out of minerals, out of gas. He's got a handful of units here and there, but here comes the libs. It's basically pure lib. And a handful of ghosts. It's enough. It's all we need. The Ultra popping back up. Let's go. Forcing back the army. Do we burrow again? Oh, he didn't notice! The burrow! But GG gets caught. Yeah, the writing is on the wall. And Cure will tie things up 1-1, taking down Wayne on Oceanborn. GG. GG, well played. A very back and forth game. There was a roller coaster ride of emotions. We had the mech versus Wayne, and if you remember, initially Cure was in the driver's seat. Initially, Cure was doing so well for himself, killing so many workers, drones, annihilating them with Hellion run-bys, with Banshees as well. And he was able to stabilize and settle into his 5-base setup quite easily. But getting the 6th planetary, the 6th base, was a bit of a harder journey there for Cure. Wayne was able to engulf the rest of the map, and it was more of a back and forth. You can definitely argue, though, that Wayne was a little bit stubborn. Wayne was a little bit stubborn when it came to his army composition, and I was not fond of going into Ultras from there. Going Ling, Hydra Lurker, Viper into Ultra, especially when your opponent was doubling down on Liberators. We saw that the Ultras were a little bit lackluster. They did kill the ground army, true. They did kill all the tanks, but there was no answer for the Liberators. And over time, like, Cure was also just out trading Wayne, was just being more efficient. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. With that, Team Liquid will take the series 5-1. My condolences to Starlight Twinkle. And now we're getting ready for our next series. We're getting ready for Team Vitality versus Shopify Rebellion. Oh my god, it's going to be an amazing matchup. I'm looking forward to it. Before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out in the chat to a donation. We don't really get too many donations here on the CranKy Ducklings, but there was an anonymous donation saying thank you for the casting. Thank you, Pappy. Thank you. Thank you so much.
傲风 M6 旗舰 Pro 按摩珠背小弹腰2.0。3D 云朵枕，空调座舱，立体机械臂。
biu 是我运营的产品，我想通过它和更多不懂分寸的人一起探索世界的边界。正是这些不懂分寸的人，也许他们不被理解、任性、固执，甚至疯狂。
就是我。
但如果没人去打破边界，谁又能玩透世界呢？
打开微信，搜索公众号“星际老男孩 SC Boy”。 这里有每日的直播预告、重要的赛事报道、精彩的视频剪辑、有趣的主播八卦、定期的抽奖福利以及爆笑的节奏和评论。关注 SC Boy 官方公众号，365天每天更新，让你与20万猛男一起更便捷的享受我和黄哥给大家带来的快乐。不要告诉别人哟。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you all had a lovely break. Hope you were able to get some snacks, get some food, take a break here, and now be ready for what comes next for our next series of the night for Team Vitality versus Shopify Rebellion here in World Team League WTL 2024 Summer Codes Round 4, day number 2. The final series of the night. It's going to be a best of 7 between these two amazing teams. These are two of the heavier hitters in the league, by the way. Both Team Vitality and Shopify Rebellion, they are some of the best that we have to offer. They are actually number 1 and number 2 respectively. Fun fact, neither Team Vitality or Shopify have taken a loss. Neither team has gone down, has taken a loss here at all so far in this season of World Team League. And we'll see who will have that kind of blemish on their record, who will go on undefeated, and who will bow down here to their opposing team. Oh boy. As we have a look at the lineups, we have Ryung versus Byun, we have Solar versus Scarlet, followed by Maru versus Hearthstone. I mean, coming into this, I do have to favor the star power of Team Vitality. You know, they've got Solar and Maru, some of the best Zerg and Terran players in the world. They have Ryung, who is a TVT sniper, who happens to be in a TVT as well, which is ideal for Ryung, going up against Shopify. Now, to be fair, to give credit where credit is due, Shopify Rebellion, their team is very preparation-based. They have spoken about this in the past. They had an interview last Alice. I'm sure it's going to be a great time meeting with everyone there at the event. And then spawning at the top left-hand corner, we have for Ghost River, Ryung. And in the top right, we have his opponent for Shopify Rebellion, we have Byun. Oh my god, that is a crisp cam. Of course, Ryung for Team Vitality. If you're in the chat, predictions are about to close. Place your bets. Get your predictions going. You have a couple of seconds. Look at Byun from the Shopify HQ. Yes, yes. Byun and I believe the other players are currently practicing boot camping at the Shopify HQ. Do love to see it. Very clean setup he has going on there. As Byun, where are we going, by the way? We sent our first SCV across the map. We do have a Rax back at home alongside our Gas Geyser, and it is going to be a 2 Rax Reaper opener out of Byun. Meanwhile, we see Ryung opening up double gas. Should be for a faster factory. So this is going to be a very interesting dynamic here where Bjorn, of course, he has micro like no other. He's going to be able to abuse his Reaper control early on. Ryung will have, of course, the defender's advantage. He will have a faster factory for Hellion production, and Willie Scott, he will not. He does not come across the proxy. He's not aware. Not going to be ready for this. And there's going to be a small window where Bjorn can get a lot done and try to snowball out of control. You may be thinking, oh, but it's only one proxied Rax. Yes, but we're on Ghost River. The rush distance by ground on this map is very short, so it doesn't take too long at all for the initial Rax to reinforce across the map either. This can still hit quite hard. Here we go. Meanwhile, we do go for our SCV scout. Ryung, he confirms that the Rax is back at home, so everything is looking as it should. Everything is looking normal. Bjorn keeping his build hidden. Reaper moves out, and Ryung has to be careful here. He has to react very quickly. So there's going to be that small window where Bjorn has the Reaper advantage. Ryung will pull back. Does race back to his main. Hasn't lost anything yet. Now he has eyes. Now he does see the Reapers. He does react in time. Does pull away. And he can pull the boys as well. We do have SCVs to spare. Ooh, one SCV goes down. Factory does finish. Second Reaper arrives. Bjorn does dive on it. But clutch control there from Ryung, as he will hold. Whew, okay. That was a very tense moment there. But Ryung did react. He was able to preserve his Reapers. Did lose one SCV, but only one worker. And here comes the Hellion. And now with the help of the Hellion, we're perfectly safe and sound. I mean, I say that. This Reaper count is still quite threatening. And if Ryung isn't too careful, then Bjorn can snowball out of control. Oof, as we don't go for the chase. Bjorn dips in, no one loses anything. And now we're expanding. We have Bjorn going for a CC on location, Ryung going for his command center on the high ground in his main. He's in his main. We can see that Bjorn is still committing to Reaper production just to contain his opponent before transitioning back at home. And if Ryung does try to move out too soon, then he could end up bleeding out some of these units, whether it's a Hellion, whether it's a Cyclone. That's going to be the ideal for Bjorn. We do see Ryung actually working towards very fast tank production. Cutting Cyclones, fast tank instead. A more defensive composition here from Ryung. Reapers, they try to dip in. Oh, getting some hits off on that depot. They're not getting much more than that. So Ryung will force back that Rax. And we'll finally expand. Expansion's been delayed, but now we have the tank on the high ground. We should be safe and sound. There we go. Tank volley goes off, and Bjorn has to back off. Now, the big advantage that Ryung has is his tank count. As he's already got one, working on his second. Bjorn is going to be behind in that tank count overall. He does have the slightly better economy, with his base mining slightly faster as well. So my eyes are really on Ryung at the moment to see if he does move out on two bases and if he commits to an all-in, or if we try to stabilize and get into a longer game. Was the Reapers, they head into the main. Ryung out of position, and SCVs are going to be going down. Brutal pickoffs. Two SCVs go down on Mule as well. It's going to be a one-way trip for the medevac as the Viking is going ham. Oh! And the medevac does go down. At the same time, Ryung dropping, but we have a tank in position. The drop doesn't achieve much. So good pickoff there by Bjorn. He may have lost some Reapers, but the Reapers, they kind of get outscaled as the game goes on. They run out of their usefulness, so getting a couple of SCVs here or there is worth it. For our Red Terran. As the Reapers dip in, they're going for another SCV. They're looking for one, they get two, they get three. Oh my god. 4 SCVs go down. We're going to get a fifth towards the end. Very nicely done here by Bjorn. Meanwhile, Ryung is committed, moving out with everything he has. He's on 3 tanks. Oh my god, we get a 7th SCV. Calm down. And Ryung, he needs to get damage done. Scans, he does confirm the tank positioning. Knows he cannot push into the natural, but he can try to slip into the main. Third CC is on the way. You can see Ryung pushing forward, setting up. Oh, not quite within range of the Marines. But he will catch the Cyclones. Not bad. Does get 2 Cyclones for free. Scan reveals the army. Ryung rotating around. Bearing in mind that Ryung does not have a third. He hasn't started his third base yet. Threatens to drop into the main. Vikings are trying to keep up. And can we deny Stim? Are we within range? Not quite. Oh, tank volley is going to be going off. We shut down one of the Vikings as well. And we should force a cancel on the third base. It was about to finish. It was about to complete. It looks like it will barely finish in the end. And it survives. No shot. The Rax goes down, but the CC does live. Oh, the repairs! Okay, we have a repair. We're good. We do repair in time. A big win there for Bjorn. Saves the command center. He's up a base. And there's no way for Ryung to really kill Bjorn anytime soon here. Bjorn isn't being broken. We are doubling down on Viking production, though. I believe Ryung is up in the Viking count. We have to retreat, though. Have to pull back. Oh, and I was curious if we we're going to throw down more factories. Ryung is committed to mech. It's going to be mech from our blue Terran player. You know, Bjorn going for biotank instead. Catches a Viking. Oh, and I'm not too sure about this for Ryung here. Going to be bleeding out almost every single Viking. It does lose a lot of his air control. That was not the fight to take. Vikings go down. Like, it's a really difficult position because Ryung has to stay here. The reason why he's still sieged outside the base is because he's trying to delay the third. He knows that the third base is done and he cannot just allow Bjorn to get it up and running without any resistance. So his goal here is to delay for as long as he can while minimizing his losses. It's a very fine line to walk, to cross. So you can see Ryung just reinforcing as much as he can, rallying everything across the map. Bjorn moving out, is spotted. Oof. Once again, Bjorn flexing his air control. Ryung, he has to respond. Oof. Does take some tank shields to the face. But we'll get back home and finally Bjorn can expand. You can see on the minimap. Expansion is on the way. Ryung making 3 Vikings at a time. We've got a 3rd starport in production. We have a fusion core as well. I believe that should be for battle cruisers. That should be for BC production from Ryung. Can he get there? Vikings dipping in. I believe Bjorn still has the Viking lead. Yeah, Ryung has to give up ground. Has to pull back. And do we go for the dive? Do we just land on these tanks? It's tempting. It's so tempting. We don't go for it. We back up. Yeah, lines have been drawn. Fusion core about to finish. As I mentioned before, going mech here does typically lead into BC production. We'll see if that's the case. Bjorn setting up a counterattack with his Marines. Ryung still holding on. Does have a slight economic advantage because he was able to get his third base up and running a little bit faster. But that third is exposed and Bjarni's coming in for that dive into the mineral line. He does have stim. He's going for it. He stims in. Boys have to be pulled away. So you get 3 SCVs. That could have been so much worse. When the 3 workers go down, good reaction out of Ryung. There's that first battle cruiser. BCs are on the way. The problem here is that it takes time. It takes a while here to build up that BC count. So Ryung is vulnerable and he's stuck at home. Yeah, now Bjorn, he has the map control. He can freely expand. Takes his third, takes his fourth. Bjorn looking to take the entire map. Once again, bullying back those Vikings. Oh my god, we're going for a deep dive, by the way. We're pushing in. And with our land, we shut down 2 of those tanks. We're pushing up the ramp as well. Bjorn's going for the kill. Yeah, Vikings are going to get annihilated. Ryung has to land. Marines, oh, bit of miscontrol there to Bjorn. Bleeds out his Marines. And suddenly, Ryung is going to be able to hold on. Marines, they try to come in from behind, but there's barely any of them. And here comes the BC. It has been revealed. Bjorn's tanks are cleaned up. The Vikings are cleaned up. And Ryung holds. Impressive. He was down like 30 supply there. 20 to 30 supply. Did barely hold. Bjorn is still up in workers. He can afford some of these losses. He can rebuild. The problem here is that Bjorn, sure, he can remax and rebuild his bio army, but replacing those tanks and Vikings, that is not easy. Again, Bjorn is going for a more mobile composition as opposed to the more robust composition of Ryung. We have Yamato on the way. Making 2 battle cruisers at a time. More tanks. Bjorn, to make up for losing all those Vikings, he's throwing down 2 more starports. I believe that's going to be 4 starports in total for Bjorn. As TVT quickly turns from tank versus tank to Viking versus Viking. I mean, it's been mainly about the Vikings this game. It's all about the air control. Whoever controls the air controls the TVT. Bjorn trying to sneak out with this double drop. Headed for that southern base. Tanks are in position. The BC count getting higher. But oh god, as whew, okay, we get as we're settling into our 4-base setup. Our clean feed was struggling a little bit, but we're okay. We are okay. As we've hit that point where we had almost non-stop aggression throughout most of this game, but now we're calming things down, we're taking our 4 bases. You can see that Bjorn, he was trying to find like an exposed base or some exposed tanks, but Ryung has been quite secure. So we're going to be having more of a kind of a passive moment here in this game where both players are taking their halves of the map, maxing out. Now Bjorn is going to be the first to max out as he has a cheaper army. The question becomes, can he do anything with that army? I mean, he's looking for those BCs, and the Vikings, they will come across them. Ryung is going to be forced to teleport. Does he react in time? The BCs! Up! We can't afford to lose them! Oh, we go for the Yamato. We bleed out 1 battle cruiser. That was a rough decision there for Ryung. The Yamato did confirm a kill on 1 BC. So, a good catch from Bjorn. I have yet to misspeak when it comes to saying their names, but I can feel it. It's happening. It's gonna happen soon. Like saying Ryung and Bjorn over and over again, it's getting to me. Not gonna, I can feel it. Aye, aye, aye. It got really bad when I was casting, for those that were here for it, when I was casting Bunny versus Bjorn, at one point I kept just saying Bjorny. I just, over and over again. I couldn't handle it. It all just melded together. But here we go. Bjorn rotates over towards our 3rd base. Catches a couple of tanks. Oh, I'm not too sure if we want to commit though into those BCs. Big Volley's going to be going off, and we do pick up a lot of the Vikings. We catch another battle cruiser. We're down to 1. Down to 1 at battle cruiser here. We cannot commit, and Bjorn, he's winning the fight in the sky as he takes down another BC. We have 2 more coming in to reinforce just in time. Yamato going off. Oof. And we're down to 4 Vikings. We're down to 3 Vikings. The BC up. Can we get it? We can. One more battle cruiser goes down, and Bjorn, it looks like he's barely snowballing out of control, winning the fight in the sky, takes down every Viking. We're down to one battle cruiser. And now the ground army can push forward. Gain more ground. We get within range of the CC. Ryung, he's up against... I did it. Ryung is up against the wall. Ah, I almost made it. CC goes down. Ryung looking uncomfortable there on cams. I mean, he knows recovering from here is not going to be easy. Bianjwa. Piani even. As at this point, Bjorn is just camping the production. He's just camping the air, going past the turrets. Once again, taking it to the Vikings here of Ryung. Desperate teleporter across the map. Oof. Yeah, as we can just land in the main, we just camp the production. And Bjorn is just going to be able to fly over the army. Doesn't even matter, doesn't even care. So let's respect those tanks. The VC is getting some work done, but there's only so much it can do. 6, 7 SCVs go down. Oh, it was a bit of a trap. Ryung, can he catch these Vikings? The surround. Show us the Vikings. Nah, you can't. Bjorn still comes out on top. Ryung now forced to make Thors, but at this point it might just be too late. I do like the Thor option here from Ryung, but we're going for the factories. GG gets called. The writing was on the wall, and Bjorn will take game number... What? There we go. Bjorn will take game number 1. Even the production team got confused. But who won? What? The Korean Terran? Aye, GG, well played. Bjorn does take the first game. Ooh, a very intense game number 1. You can see, oh, the jacket's off, Bappy. Let's go. Take it off. It's getting hot here. So it's just catching up. And here we go. We're diving into game 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court. We have Ryung for Team Vitality. And in the bottom left, we have Bjorn for Shopify. Brianji. Oh, God. Oh, no. The amalgamation of Terran. Bjorny versus Bun. Ah. Did somebody say my... I just saw there's a Bjorny in the chat. Aye, aye, aye. Alright, here we go. We are going to be settling in. We're going to be settling into our game. Just because Ryung went for mech in game 1 does not mean that's all he can do. I mean, Ryung does like to embrace mech whenever he can, but can always bring out and whip out the bio play as well. So we'll keep an eye on Ryung. Meanwhile, we are going to be diverting our openers here. It's going to be double gas out of Ryung. We do have a Rax expand from Bjorn. What I mean by that is our red Terran player is going for a more economic opener. Our blue Terran player is going for a more aggressive opener instead. Or aggressive / safe, depending on how you want to look at it. As Ryung will have a faster factory, Bjorn will have a faster command center. We'll see if Bjorn does go for the CC on the low ground. This SCV scout will confirm. Bearing in mind as well that Bjorn is not going for an SCV scout of his own. He's playing blind, playing in the dark. At least until his Reaper comes out. SCV deeps in. Ryung going to try and delay the command center, but he won't be able to, but he will scout it, will confirm. Is now aware that Bjorn will have the economic lead early on. The slight lead. This also tells Ryung that he's safe and sound, that there's no, like, this time there's no proxy racks, there's no early game aggression. He can get into his own game. Factories are on the way. And from here, Ryung should be going for his own expansion on the low ground. One base all-ins are very rare. I mean, their proxies aren't so rare in TVT, but committing into a one base all-in is not really seen too often here. So we should be expanding. There's that CC. Now from here, Ryung is going to have faster... I was going to say Cyclone production, but he will go for the Hellion instead. Going Hellion Reaper. Beyond settling into his 1-1-1. From the side of our red Terran, we kind of expect more of the same. Like, Beyond is very much so a biotank player. He plays mech from time to time, but that's usually against Zerg. I don't know if I've seen Beyond play... yeah, I don't think I've seen Beyond play mech against Terran. Maybe once or twice? I know we've seen Maru do it, but... I mean, Maru did it in Star Wars 11. He did play mech against Gumiho. But Beyond doesn't typically embrace that. Not typically. I say that tentatively because I know that usually if Maru's doing something, Beyond is doing it as well. That's like, they usually go hand in hand, like they're really good friends. For now, we're settling in. To see Beyond moving out with his initial drop. Going for his Marine Cyclone drop on the right hand side. Meanwhile, Ryung, interesting, opening up Liberator, not Medevac. I mean, Medevac first into Lib. So our drops are moving out. We will walk past each other here. Things are about to get chaotic as Beyond is going to hit first. Uh-oh. And does Ryung turn around or does he commit? He's turning back around. And SCVs will fall. We catch a mule. Get a worker. Ryung still racing back home. How much more will he lose? So far, not too much. Bleeding out a couple of SCVs. But he will defend. This could have been a lot worse. Just a really unfortunate timing there for Ryung as both armies pass by each other at the same time. And Medevac's still alive here behind the natural. And will escape. So we're settling into our tank production. Now I believe Ryung is skipping his Raven. He's just going straight into Vikings instead. Curious. We'll see if he throws down a second starport. Now just Viking tank. Beyond instead embracing the Raven, going for the disables, researching interference matrix. The Liberator does arrive, and we're going to get a couple of SCVs. Not bad. 2 SCVs go down, pulling back. Ryung is still just pumping out nothing but Viking tank, by the way. He's going to keep pushing. Yeah, Ryung, he's committed. Is committed with this, sending everything across the map, and he could even potentially cancel this third base. It's very close to the edge. But now focusing on the main push, focusing on the ramp, getting within range of the starport. Liberated Siege and starport going to be going down. Here come the Ravens. We get the disable, a big disable on the tank, and is it going to be enough? Can we break through? The Marines, they push forward. The tank does siege on the high ground. But what about that low ground? As it looks like the tank is going to fall, and Ryung, he barely does clean this up, but here come the reinforcements. Yeah, Beyond with that defender's advantage. He will hold. Ryung is down to a single tank and a single Cyclone. It shouldn't be enough. I say that we do get a couple of SCVs. It's still so close. But the production, or the reinforcements for the production is just, it arrives so quickly here for Beyond. He pulls the boys, gets on top of the tanks. They will bring one down. The Vikings land. Oh, the pickup. The Viking barely does land. SCVs are going down. The repairs, they're clutch, and they are enough to hold on. Whew. But again, that's a lot of lost mine time, and Ryung, he's still rallying across the map. He's getting a third CC on location, but still just rallying pure tank Viking. His army is barely standing. Gets eyes on the third CC, but it's already in orbital. Should survive. I say that, I mean, with this Viking lead, Ryung can't really engage. Are we going for Stim? We're gonna get it! Stim does go down. Beyond picks up a couple of those Vikings. Down to 3. Beyond still reinforcing. We have another factory on the way, so it's going to be mech. At the same time, Beyond throwing down 2 more starports. Getting into triple starport production. As Ryung is doing enough damage, he delays the 3rd. He denies upgrades. I mean, denying stim, of course. And Ryung, he's freely mining from his own 3rd back at home. As long as he doesn't bleed out too many tanks, Ryung should be okay. Should be. Just remember, Bjorn, he's amassing up quite a Viking army. Ryung has to respect it. He's pushing in. Oh. Yeah, 5 to 5. And even Viking out, Ryung, he bleeds out 1. And another! Just like that, Bjorn takes the Viking lead. And now he can expand. He can take his 3rd base, shuts down another tank. And Ryung did overextend. And now Ryung is in a bit of trouble here. We trigger a counterattack. Bjorn is moving out with everything he has. Ryung back at home. He's in a bit of trouble. How much do we have to defend? No shuttle. We down to 1 tank. Uh-oh. We have 2 more on the way. They're barely coming out. Again, the pendulum quickly swinging from one player to the other. Yeah, landing his Vikings, breaks through the tank line, getting into the main base, getting into the natural, and there's nothing to stop him. There's 1 tank on the high ground, and we're going to focus it down. The boys are being pulled into Vikings. Ryung, he just doesn't have enough. Things very quickly escalate out of control. And Bjorn, he's going to be taking this. He's going to be looking to take a lead in this series. GG gets called, and Bjorn will take it 2-0. A very strong start for Shopify Rebellion. Whew. GG, well played. Ryung, such an aggressive build. 2019, 2010, 2020-ish era for Rogue. Inno, Scarlet, and Killian all cheesed him out. Good times. But spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the top left, we have Scarlet for Shopify Rebellion. Oh my god, are we... Is the house at an angle? Are we good? Is the Shopify HQ toppling over? What's happening? We're crazy? Clearly, it's the room that's at an angle, not the webcam. Clearly. Aye. Bjorn, he popped off too hard. Calm down. She's tilted. Oh, true. Oh, no. She's tilted. Not like this. But here we go. We're settling into our ZVZ. It's going to be Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener so far between Solar and Scarlet. There's no 12-11s, no 13-12s, no early gases or early pools, not yet. Dude, so hard the building nearly toppled over. Oh my god. It's okay. You know, there are some people that need like a certain elevation of their chair. Some people need their like keyboard like a certain distance from the edge of the desk. Some people need the building tilted a little bit, you know, for the ideal. It's fine. We like it. As our mirror matchups continue here. Again, ZVZ is quite different compared to TVT. I mean, I say different. There's a lot of aggressive potential available to our players, but we're loading into Amphion, which is a very defendable map. Amphion is an interesting choice here. I mean, neither player had a choice when it came to this map, but you can take a very secure 3rd base. The 3rd can be quite secure at the triangular location because of the high ground, because of the rocks you have to knock down to gain access to that area. Same with the minerals as well. So this is not a bad map to open up 2-base Roach, to be honest. 2-base Roach typically is done on a map where you can defend your natural a little bit easier. There's a ramp coming into the natural, and with a more secure 3rd base, I'm leaning towards that here, but we'll see. We'll see if either player decides to skip some of their upgrades and tech into that. As I say that, Scarlet has not begun link speed. So this is the kind of thing that we're keeping an eye on. Solar, he's working towards link speed, getting into a standard game. Scarlet, upon skipping link speed and going for a 2nd gas, this looks like 2-base Roach. So we should be walling off at the natural and taking up towards Roach tech. Ooh, as we actually prioritize the lair, this is interesting. So we're revealing 2 base Roach. We have the Roach Horn, we have the Evo Chamber, we're fully walling off. This could be faking out 2 base Roach and hiding a Spire. This could be 2 base Muta. We have options. We'll see how high the gas count goes. We'll see if we rush into the 3rd and 4th gas. 2 base Muta is viable here on Amphion because of the features that we mentioned. But Lings, they slip in. Oh! Lings, they do slip into the natural, into the main base as well. Queens not quite going to stop the scouts, and we get eyes on the fast lair. Big moment here for Solar. Does confirm the lair timing. He's checking for the Spire. Lair isn't done yet, but now Solar knows to be that much more vigilant when it comes to scouting for a Spire once the lair is done. Scarlet might be tempted to deviate, and we're going for a Nidus. Okay, we're going for a Nidus all in instead. No additional gases. This is another option, of course, with the fast lair. Solar still has to piece this together. Solar, you can see he also skipped his Bailey Nest, going into Roaches. Oh, but Solar's droning. Solar doesn't know how much danger he's in right now. As for the time being, he's droning. He's getting a second gas geyser, working towards +1 range. Okay, we do have a safety amount of Roaches on the way. We have 5 Roaches in production for Solar. Well, Scarlet going all in. And we're going for the Nidus into the main. Solar sees. Solar does confirm, does react. The boys are being pulled. Queens are on the way. Roaches are rallying in. It looks like the Nidus is going to finish, though. It's going to finish up just in time. And can we transfuse? Oh, we don't even need the transfuse. And Solar, he's in trouble. A little bit too greedy. Droned up too much. The boys, they have to be pulled. Yeah, Roaches, they pop out just in time. Solar, can he hold on? Bearing in mind, Solar, he can afford to lose some workers. He can lose some drones. And we're running out of transfuse. Queens are going down for both players. And Solar, can he barely hold on? It looks like he can. With the reinforcements, we clean up the Roaches. We clean up the Queens. Solar will force this back. I say that, but here come another wave of reinforcements. Roaches, they come back in. Yeah, Solar's in trouble. Solar's in a lot of trouble. It looks like maybe Scarlet has too much. Yeah, we have control of the main base once again. We have the high ground as well. Boys, after you pulled for a second time. But we barely have any Roaches left over here for Solar. We're down to 3 Roaches. Still maintain that 3. 2 more drones go down. Clutch transfuse. Scarlet is barely being forced back against such a close fight here for both players. Now, Scarlet does have a worker lead. Solar, he was forced to cancel +1 range. The upgrade was canceled. And can we barely hold on? Queen comes in to reinforce. Ah! The Roach on Roach. It's still so close here. We're down to 2 Roaches. Okay, Solar, he's held. Solar, he will force this back. Finally does hold on. Finally will force back the army. Oh, Scarlet coming out here. Not too sure about this commitment. Bleeding out more Roaches. Uh-oh. I don't think that was intentional. Scarlet does bleed out initial Roaches. Now the Nidus Swarm here between the bases is going to be shut down. And back at him, Scarlet is droning. Scarlet, she recognizes that Solar has held, and now we're droning up. And now the game is going to calm down. So, after an intense all-in, both players, I should say both players, we do see Solar ahead of base. Solar has a lair. We have, of course, Roach speed on the way. +1 is now starting up here for Scarlet. We're calming things down. With that base advantage, Solar, I would say, has an edge, has a slight lead. Does have a lead here. And I'm curious where Scarlet takes us. Whether we go for another all-in and cut drone production, or whether we try to stabilize and get into a longer game. Scarlet desperately trying to retake that 3rd, or take another 3rd. Is expanding. Upgrades on the way. Oh, my apologies. Sorry, I assumed that Solar had canceled +1 range, but no, +1 range did finish, so my bad on that one. Did finish, and now we have a massive upgrade advantage. Oh my god. +2 range now on the way for Solar. And that's going to be a pretty big timing. Like, Solar, all he has to do is drone up, saturate his 3rd, and hit that timing as we're already moving out with our roaches, a bit premature. But we are pushing, threading the third. The goal here is to force out an army from Scarlet. Oh, Scarlet getting caught out in the open. Roaches are going down. Scarlet, she was in the middle of droning. She does not have an army right now. She was not ready for this. GG gets called. We don't even have to think and talk about +2 as Solar able to fight back, able to survive and take game number 1. Team Vitality fight back. Whew. GG, well played. Unfortunately, it looks like Scarlet did not have an Overlord. We are settling in and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the bottom right, we have Scarlet for Shopify Rebellion. Still tilted. Is that a cat behind the desk? Maybe, maybe. But oh my god, Scarlet, by the way, going for a 13-12. My apologies, I was looking at the chat, but Scarlet, this is going to be a short series here. It's all or nothing. We're going for a gas pool opener. With this, we're going to be rushing into link speed. We can throw down the Baneliness behind this as well. Scarlet is going to be going all in. Is committed. Solar back at home going for a hatch gas pool standard opener out of our blue Zerg player. Very aggressive out of our red. Here we go. Bet for the game, bet for the series. So predictions have already closed. They were open for the entire series earlier for the best of 2. Link speed has begun. We're staying in gas. We're staying in gas so we can afford that Baneling nest as well. So again, it's going to be a Link Flood with Banelings alongside it. And we'll see how Solar does respond. How quickly he can react. There's that Baneling nest that we spoke about. Scarlet is moving out. Now, when it comes to Solar, he needs to recognize whether this is a 12 pool or a 13-12. Like, different timings force different reactions. So far, Scarlet does avoid the initial Overlord Scout, but will be revealed in the center of the map. Solar's now aware. Does spot the Lings, and will spot the follow-up Lings as well. Oh, Spinecrawler going to be on the way on the high ground. Good reaction so far to Solar. For those that are curious, it is risky to pull the boys. Against a 13-12, because you're all in, you typically do not. But Solar going to try and fight for control of the low ground. The boys are being pulled. Banelings are on the way. Risky move here. We'll see if Solar can minimize his losses. Scarlet pulls back. Banelings are about to finish up. Link speed 5 seconds away. Yeah, and Solar has to pull back. Oh, the Banelings, they go in! Get one decent connection. We have one more left. Yeah, the Lings, they are going down. They're being shut down by the Lings of Scarlet. The Spinecrawler is done. Spinecrawler should be done on the high ground. We collapse on top of the Queen as well. Second Queen on the way. I'm still not even certain if Solar can hold this here. Baneling goes off. Can the Spinecrawler go down? It looks like it will. And the Spinecrawler falls. We're collapsing on top of the Queen. Scarlet barely pulling back. Another Baneling on the way. Still a very close defense here. As Solar is down a Queen and down a Spine. God, he's crazy. Solar pulling down to the low ground. But that's the one Baneling. Yeah, we get this round of the Queen. The Queen is going to go down. And the Lings with this Baneling, we cannot engage. We have one Baneling left. Zoning Solar away. I say that. Here comes another Queen just in time. Solar's holding. Solar holds. Gets the Baneling. And just like that, Solar, he's up a base. He's up drones. Very impressive defense here. Again, it's so difficult to actually hold on to that hatchery. Solar did do it while maintaining that drone lead. And now Scarlet's in a rough position. Now, thankfully, Scarlet did expand. Did throw down a hatchery. But Scarlet has a lot of catching up to do. And Solar has rebuilt his Spinecrawler. We have a second Spinecrawler on the way just in case. Solar doesn't have any Banelings to work with, but is still threading the bases of Scarlet, keeping her busy back at home. Baneling comes in! Oh my god. No connection yet. Sol has to calm down, pulling back. Does have to retreat. Yeah, as long as Solo can get back to those queens, it should be safe and sound. Not a bad connection with the Baneling, getting 4 lings. But was hoping for more. Scarlet does maintain map control. Throughout all of this, behind this, both players have been droning. Scarlet still trying to catch up. Evo Chambers on the way. Roach Warren as well. Upon seeing this setup, Scarlet has the option to go for a faster third to try to take an economic lead. Meanwhile, Solar is just fortifying himself on 2 bases. Yeah, there's that third on the way. So again, Scarlet has map control, so she will have a higher base count. Should eventually work towards roaches as well. And Scarlet also needs to recognize whether or not Solar is going for an all-in on 2 bases or not. Solar will have that option available. Now we're droning, we're calming things down. Lair is on the way for Solar, additional gases, +1 range. And Solar, he can hit a pretty strong +1 range timing here with Roach Speed. With that faster Lair. I believe Scarlet is still on Hatch Tech. Still on Hatch Tech here. Droning, taking more gases. We're calming things down. Lings are still being active, and it looks like we can delay the third. We do dive on it. We force a cancel. Not bad. Do force a cancel on the hatchery. Scarlet still droning. This is what I was worried about. Solar hasn't made a drone in quite some time. He's shooing away those overlords. Drolla cutting workers at 41. It's a 2-base all-in. The 3rd base of Solar is just for show. Solar is going for the all-in. Overlords are spreading creep. And we're going to be pushing. Now, Scarlet does recognize that something is wrong. He's throwing down the Spine Crawler. Scarlet, she's up to 55 drones. And I do think that Scarlet has over-droned here. It is a dynamic in ZVZ. You have to be careful with how you spend your larva, how you spend your resources. Has a good drone count, but is lacking an army. And Solar is committed. Just waiting a little bit longer for these upgrades to kick in. Now, at least Scarlet has identified what's going on, so we're at least not droning up any further. We're cutting workers at 55, and we're hoping that we can get away with it. Amassing roaches, queens, the Spine Crawlers are going to be quite key here in the defense. And it's going to be all or nothing. Either Solar breaks Scarlet or dies trying. Here we go. We are pushing. +1 range is done. Roach Speed is now done for Solar. And even the queens are waddling in. And Solar up 20 army supply, almost 30 army supply. There's no transfuse. Spine Crawler pushing forward, and you can see just the overwhelming Roach army here in favor of Solar. Yeah, it's just a numbers game here at this point. We have transfuse as well to support. The Spine Crawler is helping quite a bit, but it's still not enough. GG gets called. Solar does overwhelm, and Solar will take the series 2-0, tying things up 2-2. GG. GG, well played. Okay, it's been quite back and forth so far. Beyond started things off with his 2-0 lead for Shopify. Solar ties things up with his 2-0, and now it all comes down to Maru versus Harsem. If either player takes a 2-0, that's going to be the end of the series in favor of their respective teams. If this goes 1-1, then we force the ace match. Oh boy. Maru is coming in hot off a win at Stars War 11. For those that maybe weren't aware, Maru, alongside many others, did travel to China. They competed in a big offline event last weekend. That's why there was no World Team League. We were of course casting it live, and Maru was our champion. It was a best of 9 finals versus Hero in the grand finals. went all the way to the ace match. It was a beautiful series. I recommend watching the VODs between Maru and Hero in that best of 9. Went all the way to game 9 of all outcomes. It was crazy. We rarely get a best of 9 going to the ace match. And Maru was our champion. Right now, he is looking to be the best Terran in the world. But it's Hearthstone. And you know what year it is? It's the year of Hearthstone, Papi. It's always the year of Hearthstone. Unironically, Hearthstone was looking very impressive in the EPT regionals. It was EPT Spring for Europe, where Hearthstone, he popped off. Doing better than I really expected him to. Hold on, let me just quickly double check here. I believe Hearthstone took down Showtime. Let me just double check. Before I start listing off players that I'm not entirely certain of. Hearthstone, he took down Wayne. Yeah, he took down Showtime. He took down Skilless. Went back and forth against Big Gabe. But yeah, Hearthstone, he did very well for himself. He was able to actually surpass Skilless and Showtime in EPT Spring, even though I would consider them, you know, a little bit higher ranked than Hearthstone. So really showing us that even though Hearthstone has been focused, match first puts you ahead if you hold. It does put you ahead. Oh. Here we go. We dive into that first game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the bottom right, we have Hearthstone for Shopify Rebellion. Hearthstone not tilted, I believe. I think maybe it's on a slight angle. I think we're good. Cool, calm, and collected. Let's go. I think that's a heater in the background. And Lambo coaching. I believe Lambo is there with him as well. May not be competing here tonight, but I'm sure is taking a more coach role. Giving some input to the players. In between games, I mean, obviously. In between games. Ooh, but here we go. Maru opening up double gas, so it's going to be a bit of a more aggressive opener from Maru. I'm a little bit surprised. On a map like Side Delta, we've seen quite a lot of more economic builds instead, as it is a safer map to open up with a Rax Expand. With a double gas, should be a faster factory. I mean, I say more aggressive, more safer as well. As Hearthstone is going for the gate expand. Okay, a bit of a greedier opener out of Hearthstone. Delaying his Cybercore, going for the faster Nexus. We'll have the slightly better economy. Nothing too major other than that. Can Lambo say anything to Hearthstone during the game? No. That's not going to happen. Do you have that factory behind this for Maru? As our first Reaper is being sent out, our goal here is to get eyes on the initial tech from Hearthstone. Again, talking about Side Delta a little bit, the natural base is actually quite defendable. There's a ramp coming into the natural, which is a bit of a unique feature in the new map pool. Very few maps actually have that. Maps like Side Delta, Amphion, Post Youth as well, that allow you to be a little bit greedier, which is what led to the opener of Hearthstone. Reaper rocks up, and we can see that it's going to be a Twilight Council in the main base, hidden a little bit further back. Maru has yet to scout. Right now, dancing with the Adept. And he's going for the dive. Shot goes off, and we get a full scout. Twilight Council has been spotted, and Maru is aware of the blink. And can we get a probe? We can! Ooh, one probe goes down. It was a bit of a misstep there. Hearthstone unable to save his worker. So very nice trades out of Maru. Getting some economic damage done. Scouting the tech. And preparing back at home for his Mind Drop. Now, Mind Drops and committed Mind Drops have fallen off quite a lot in the new patch, just because of the nerf to the Widowmine, so we very rarely see very committed Widowmine Drop openers here in TVP, but Maru has been mixing it in. I say Maru, a lot of the Terran players, they mixed it in like maybe once a series. Still less common compared to what it once was. But we're getting ready for what looks to be a Widowmine Marine drop from the side of Maru. As Marines are amassing. Widowmines is on the way. We saw a similar setup earlier today with Clem. In Clem's series versus Christiana. Oh, as we're getting into early tank production as well. I mean, we're aware of the blink, so early tanks do make sense. As we still don't know if it's going to be 4-gate blink, or at least Maru doesn't know if it's going to be 4-gate blink or not. So playing it out safely. Getting into those tanks. That's the other kind of big moment we're looking for from the side of Hearthstone, is whether we commit into additional gateways. For now, it's just 2-gate blink. Looking to be into a third Nexus. No additional gateways yet. As we're moving out with that mine drop, we actually keep the Marines back at home. We're only going for the singular Widow Mine, and the goal with this drop is not just to get economic damage done, it's mainly for scouting. You can see the medevac rotate around, confirming no additional gateways. And we get 1 probe in the natural. Again, just Maru just trying to confirm how many gateways there are. As he does move out. Honestly, there's a lot of potential with this push. It's only 2-gate blink. Like, Hearthstone is building up for a Nexus. And as Hearthstone tries to expand, Maru's going to be there to shut it down. Oh. At the same time, Hearthstone pushing through the center of the map. The armies are passing by each other. There's that third base from Hearthstone. Maru's main army, soon to collapse in. We do have a tank back at home. Hearthstone looking to dive into the main. As Maru's looking for the third base. Does miss it, but goes for the natural instead. Okay, let's go. A bit of a base trade. We push into the natural base. Pylon goes down. We depower the gateway and the Robo. At the same time, Stalkers bust into the main base. SCVs are being pulled. Very little to defend. Boys are going down. We get 8 SCVs in the main base. With these tanks, we should clean this up. But how many workers do we lose before that happens? How much damage can we get done? 9, 10 SCVs go down. At the same time, Maru has not pushed into the main, but we get the natural. Oh, that's huge. The Nexus has fallen. We're losing a lot of SCVs, but Maru, he can always replace them. He can always just rebuild. So that is a kill at the natural. We clean up all the Stalkers. And now Maru, he's going for the third. He's killed 1 base, and now we're going for the other. And can Hearthstone save it? I'm not so sure he can. And again, he has to. Boys are being pulled. It's going to be a desperate attempt here for Hearthstone to hold on. Here we go for the dive. Tank is barely going to go down, but we bleed out so many Stalkers. The stutter stepping is too good. Probes are going down. Oh my god. 11, 12 workers. We're down to 1 Stalker. And GG gets called. It's just too much, and Maru will take game number 1. Whew. GG. A very chaotic game. A very chaotic game there with the armies. They did pass by each other, and damage was being done. Unfortunately, Maru had that much more firepower with his tanks. Also, the killer instinct of Maru to avoid the third base and to go straight for the natural instead was able to just do critical damage, as opposed to Hearthstone, who killed SCVs, but only workers, as opposed to Maru, who camping the production, got a Nexus, and did end the game. GG, well played. Maru takes the lead. Maru needs 1 more to close it out and to win it all for his team. The pressure is now on Hearthstone, but what I will say, it is Hearthstone's map of choice. I spoke earlier about how Shopify, they do kind of, they've spoken a lot about how they put a lot of preparation here into WTL, and I'm sure Hearthstone has been into a third from Hearthstone, and then he was able to commit to the push, right? And that's why it led to so much success. But here we go, we have Maru in the top left for Team Vitality, and in the bottom right, we have Hearthstone for Shopify Rebellion. But I think the move out was in response to what he scouted, because essentially he had not seen enough to maybe even convince him that it was a more gateway heavy composition. That's my assumption, though. For now, gonna be settling in. Be settling into game number 2. Golden Aura is gonna be an interesting one. The natural is a bit more exposed in the sense that there's no ramp leading into it, but the third base is quite fortifiable. The third base, the linear third, I should emphasize, on this map is quite close to the natural. There's a very narrow ramp coming into it as well, so it can be easier to defend. Curious what our plan is going to be, as Maru is opening up double gas. Double gas once again from our blue Terran player. Hearthstone, once again going for the gate expand. You have that Nexus on the low ground. So the same opener here from our two players as game one. So far, everything is looking the same. I'm curious if Hearthstone commits into another Twilight Council opener on this map. If he does, I'm curious if we throw down more gateways. A third or even fourth gate. Let's see. Or if Hearthstone wants to settle into a more macro game instead. Meanwhile, back at home, Maru going for the double gas opener means we have the faster factory. Reaper's on the way. Factory behind it. And once again, the goal of this Reaper is to scout the initial tech, whether it's a Twilight Council, a Robo, or a Stargate. All three are viable. All three are for different playstyles, and Maru needs to piece it together. As it is going to be another Twilight Council opener. Okay. Maru going to be tipping in. Trying to drag the Adept down to the low ground. That the dance has begun. Oh! Marush attempting to outposition is going to be zoned away. Good movement here from Hearthstone. So far, the scout is denied. As I say that, the Reaper goes up the cliff and is going to get eyes on the tech of choice. Oh, and Maru will escape. Oh! Spoke too soon as the Shade is coming in and the Reaper does go down. Hearthstone this time not losing a single probe. So much cleaner defense here from Hearthstone. We still get the scout off, but our economy is that much more secure. Blink is on the way, second gateway as well. And interesting, this time Maru makes additional Widow Mines. We have a second Widow Mine on the way. So a bit of a more committed mine drop here out of Maru. We'll see what he can get done. Hearthstone stabilizing on two bases. The Robo on the way. And it looks like once again Hearthstone is just going for a 2-gate Blink opener into a third. As we have yet to commit to any additional production or tech. Maru coming in with a mine drop. Stalkers are warping in. Oh, Maru, as he's going into Cloak, Banshee's behind this as well. That's that mine drop. And Hearthstone does react in time. I say that we do pull away. Oh my god. One Stalker will fall. And we shouldn't get too much more done here, as we're denying a lot of mining time here at the main base. As we unburrow again, finally the Widow Mine goes down. Hearthstone does regain control and should be expanding. Again, Maru, he also scouted behind the natural, so he's fully aware that there's no additional gateways. And Maru's building up for a 2-base push. If you remember, we saw this with Clem versus Cristiano as well. Banshee play is very trendy nowadays in TVP, going tank Banshee. There is an observer on the way, thankfully. There is going to be detection. These Banshees have a lot of potential. They can get a lot done. Stalkers are out on the map. Banshee slips into the main. The Observer not quite in position. Probes are going to be falling. How many workers can we get down here? It's going to be 3, 4, 5. Oh, not quite a 5th probe. 4 for now. And now we're moving out with our main force. We have 2 tanks. We have 2 Banshees. A good amount of bio. And this army is designed to break that third that Hearthstone's trying to get up and running. And Hearthstone is hyper-fixated here, defending back at home, so he doesn't slow down the main army. Uh-oh. He doesn't slow it down. We have no shield batteries at the third base either. I don't think we can hold on to it. As the army is revealed, the tanks are sieging. And sure, we have Blink, but we cannot touch this army. And yeah, we're going to force a cancel on the third. Big pickoff here from Maru. And that's all he was looking for. He's gonna keep pushing. Oh my god. I mean, no reason to stop. Getting within range of the gateways. Gateway's gonna be going down. Bunker being thrown down behind this as well to maintain this position. Overcharge is popped, and can Harsum go for the dive? Oh, that's a lot of tank shots going off in the army. We blink on the tanks. The first tank gonna be going down. We lose so many stalkers. Yeah, with 3 tanks, it's just too much. Maru snowballing out of control. He's breaking this natural. He already killed the third, and he's looking for more. He's looking for even more damage here. So many stalkers go down. That pylon, it depowers the robo. The immortal is denied. And the Banshees are still standing strong here, going for a kill on the robo. And Maru, he's not being stopped. Without an immortal, it's going to be so difficult to break this tank line. As now we're within range of the Nexus. You can see Harsum trying to sneak out the triangular third, but I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. Maru, he wants the natural. Oh god, these stalkers are so low. GG gets called. There's no breaking out of this, and Maru will take the series 2-0. Team Vitality win it 4-2. GG. GG. We're done. For now, we are going to be wrapping up. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time here tonight. Great time of StarCraft. Our next broadcast should be tomorrow with day 3 of WTL. We're also going to be casting the Logic games. Let me just quickly double check. Oh wait, no, it's today. No. My apologies. So our next broadcast is in 1 hour. We're going to be coming back here in 1 hour's time. We're going to be casting the Logic games. If you're curious, what the hell is the Logic games? It is an event sponsored by someone called Logic. It is an OSC event, and let me just quickly check the bracket here. One moment. Oh my god, that's a lot of players. We can have a look at the bracket together. Let's quickly set this up. That was the House Open Cup. Here you go. So the Logic Games is an open tournament, and you can see the bracket here before you. There's players like Cristiano, there's Cuckoo, there's Hydra, there's Nicaract as well, Shameless, Papa Panda, oh, the Taiwanese Zerg player. We have Geralt, we have Mindle VK, Forjumi, GG Machine, and many others. I think I see Exo Striker there as well. So it is a massive open bracket, a lot of money on the line. It's a 200 USD prize pool. So if you're curious, if you're interested in some more StarCraft, it is mainly European centric, as it is a more friendly European time zone, I guess American time zone as well. So we do have another cast in 1 hour's time. So I'm going to be quickly going to get some food. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back for another cast. That's how we do here on the CranKy Ducklings. We're live every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. After the Logic Games in an hour, we're going to be casting World Team League tomorrow, and we're going to be following that with ESL Open Cup Asia as well. Also, I almost forgot, Sparkling Tuna Cup is tomorrow as well. We have a lot of casting to do. We have a lot of casting to do here. 3 more events here for the weekend before we enter ESL Asia. Again, this weekend is jam-packed also because next weekend is DreamHack Dallas. You know, you may be curious as to why were the Shopify Rebellion players at the Shopify HQ? Well, they're all traveling and they're all preparing for DreamHack Dallas, which is starting up on the 31st of this month. The 31st of March in less than a week. So if you happen to be local, if you happen to be in the area, then do consider going to DreamHack. It's going to be a great time, I'm sure. A big celebration of StarCraft. Everyone coming together, everyone partying and celebrating StarCraft together. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing event. So consider checking it out if you happen to be, local, if you happen to be in the area. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. A big shout out to Holy Lime in the chat. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 16 months. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Big shout outs. Thank you so much. And oh my god, a big shout out to Showtime as well. We just ended the stream, Papi. We just ended our stream. But thank you so much for the raid. I do appreciate it. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. I do apologize that the stream is ending now, but Yeah, thank you so much. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much. Danke, papi, danke. Meanwhile, we're going to be giving another streamer a raid. Not too sure who, but we'll find someone to send everyone over to. So give them a chance, give them some support. Again, we're going to be back in an hour. Otherwise, see you next time. See you next time, papi. Ciao. Papi, ciao. See you next time.